So again, if you think he did it, we're just trying to, we gotta figure out that time period. I know.
I don't know.
There's gotta be something that we're missing here. There's a piece in here that we're missing. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't quite fit yet.
I know they're thinking I'm this crazy mistress, you know. So I went down in April, actually flew down a day and a half earlier than I told him I was coming so I could do some investigating. I let him see me there. And the look on his face, I could tell, was one of terror, because he knew his double life was about to come to an end.
How's that?
I'm a fiery red, you know, and I'll sit back and wait for someone to give me answers.
This is Peggy Sue Thomas, a beauty queen who thinks she can flirt her way out of a murder charge. A real-life horror story begins on December 26, 2003, when police on Whidbey Island discover 32-year-old Russel Douglas shot to death inside his SUV on a remote road. Evidence at the scene tells detectives they're not dealing with a robbery gone wrong. This homicide is personal. As detectives working the disturbing true crime case dig into Russel's life, they discover he had a troubled relationship with his ex-wife Brenna. She's confirmed to have been out of town at the time of the murder, but in the days leading up to his death, Russel had gotten a number of calls from Brenna's close friend, former Ms. Washington, Peggy Sue Thomas. Peggy Sue says she was just trying to deliver a Christmas gift to Russel, but investigators have their doubts. They dig deeper into her life and discover that she's been having a secret affair with Jim Hewden, a musician who was on the island the day of the murder. Now considering the couple prime suspects, detectives conduct a police interview with Jim. He refuses to point the finger at Peggy Sue, and there's not enough evidence to charge either of them until Jim's bandmate comes forward, claiming Jim confessed to killing Russel. By the time investigators go to get Jim, he's fled the country. So detectives turn their attention to Peggy Sue, hauling her in for a formal police interrogation. Investigators have no idea how tangled this true crime story of fatal attraction will become, even inspiring the best-selling book, Practice to Deceive, and Lifetime movie's Circle of Deception.
Okay. I'm Detective Warwick. I'm at the Henderson, Nevada Police Department. It is August 31st, 2004, at approximately 10:08 hours. Present with me is Commander Michael Beach. And could you state your name, please?
Peggy Thomas.
And your full name?
Peggy Sue Thomas.
You can just speak normally.
Peggy Sue Thomas.
And your date of birth?
September 2nd, 65.
And your attorney is?
Gerald Worksman, WERKSMAN, 3412 Via Oporto, Newport Beach, California, 92663.
Thank you. All right, this interview is going to be taped. If everybody's permission, that'd be your permission to tape this interview?
You do?
And yours?
Yes.
And yours, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And since you're here and your attorney's here, obviously you are not under arrest. You're free to leave any time. If you just want to get your side of what happened.
It's fine.
Okay? All right. So I guess we can start off with, let's do a little background, like we talked before. Obviously, you and I talked back on August 4th of this year at your residence while search warrant was being served.
Right.
And you gave me some information back then, pretty chronological order, so I thought we may just do the same thing again.
That's fine.
Okay, let's go back to where do you currently reside at?
Henderson, Nevada.
Okay. And we're talking, of course, about the homicide of Russ Douglas. So we're going to refer to Russ Douglas. And we're also talking about, well, why don't you tell me a little bit about Russ Douglas's wife is Brenna Douglas.
Correct.
Can you tell me a little bit about when you met them? And
I met them in the early fall of 2002 when Brenna came to Baker Street Hair Theater to work.
Okay. And you were working there at the time?
Yes. And the woman that ran that was not the easiest person to work with. And there was an opportunity to have a space in the Langley Village, and Brenna took that opportunity. Her and Russ opened that salon. So they leased that spot, got the salon together, and Siobhan Wright and myself, Siobhan worked at Baker Street also. We both left there and moved over into the village with Brenna.
Okay. And what's the name of the?
Just B.
Just B.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in Langley
Village.
Village?
Yeah,
Okay.
where she still works.
And that's a hair studio?
hmm
Okay. And who, anybody else move over there with you guys?
One girl was going to and didn't end up moving over, so no.
Okay.
About, let's see, I don't know, 6 months later maybe, Jennifer McCormick came and worked there. And we worked together for about 2 months, and I kind of slid all my clientele over to her.
Over to Jennifer.
So, yeah,
When did you guys move over to Just Be?
January 2003.
And you said you slid your clientele over to Jennifer. Why would you do that?
Because I was moving. I planned on moving for close to a year. So, my clients knew.
I'm sorry.
I started telling my clients in January.
Yeah.
Rabbi, how are you? Good, excuse me, just take a second. The rabbi. The rabbi. Okay.
No, I started telling my clients months prior. And fitting probably 65% of my clientele I pushed over to Jennifer, and then other ones between Siobhan and Brenna. So, and then,
So that was in January.
yeah,
And why were you leaving?
well, I'd gone through a divorce.
Okay.
I'm not a small town girl, never have been. I mean, I've always lived in them, but, so it was time. My kids were at an age where if I didn't move then, I'd be stuck there till they finished high school, because it'd be too ingrained to pick them up and move them. So,
Where were you living at that time?
in Langley,
And you and your husband at that time owned that residence?
and we still do.
Okay. And your daughters, well, you said your children. I know you have 2 daughters,
Yeah.
right? Mariah, and I forget which one's older. 13?
Yes, just turned 13.
And
She'll be 11 next month.
okay. Okay, so that's January.
Right.
Then what happened after that?
I started packing up all my things. Actually, I started boxing up things and cleaning out sheds in November. And the end of February, Brenna started moving in. She wanted to buy the house. So I had agreed with her and Russ that they could rent it for a year before buying it. So, which was fine. I just didn't want to have a mortgage payment and a rent payment at the same time. Their house they were living in, I don't know if it had problems or what, but it was at a time where I think their lease was up and they had to move. And I had a house sitting job that was offered to me. So I moved out of my house, let them move in, I think end of February or 1st of March. Start my house sitting right away. I'm not sure. The house sitting thing anyway, that it didn't pan out. A mother-in-law died and they had to come back, and so I ended up renting an apartment from Officer Todd and his wife.
And where was that apartment?
I can't remember the name of them. They're on 5th in Langley.
Okay. Well, when do you think you started renting from them?
June 1st. I stayed with my ex-husband for a month and a half on Decker, a block away from my house. So, just kind of, and I stayed with Cindy Francisco for 3 weeks of that time,
Where does she live at?
out on Wall Road.
Okay.
So,
Does she still live out there?
no,
Okay.
you know that.
I know that, but where does she live now?
Denver,
She lives in Denver.
yes.
Okay. Okay.
She left for Denver April of 2003, April 1st, I think.
Okay. So you moved into the apartments in June, you think?
Yeah.
And then, who all moved into those apartments?
Jim Huden and I did.
And
That's it.
just you two?
Mhm.
So your daughters didn't move in with you there?
No, they were staying with their dad for the summer.
Over on Decker?
Mhm.
Okay. So you guys are pretty close, and that's just down the street, 5th Street or whatever.
Yeah, they came and stayed weekends there.
Okay, and how did you meet Jim?
My oldest sister, Sue Mahoney,
Mm-hmm.
has been friends with him since the 4th grade. Did water.
Would you like some water?
Yeah.
Some water.
Is there afterwards in here?
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Do you need an outfit also?
We got enough for it.
So,
I know how it is sometimes. I'm kind of hot.
so I've known him since I was born, practically.
Meaning that you guys grew up in the same town then? Which would
He
have been?
went to school with my sister. He was best friends with my sister Sue's first husband. And then when she remarried, he was best friends with that husband too. In fact, he wrote and sang the song at my brother-in-law's funeral. So,
Okay, so Jim, obviously, we know that Jim grew up in Langley, and so did you also. You also grew up in Langley? Or
yeah,
spent
I was
a lot of time there.
I was the little sister, so I wasn't close with him,
Mhm.
and you know, had a friendship with him in my younger years because I'm a lot younger. But he's always been a very close part of my sister's circle of friends.
How did you guys get reintroduced? I don't want to make sure I understood it. There was something about a...
My brother-in-law's funeral.
Okay, and what happened? He
Got hit by a car while he was riding his bicycle.
And when did that happen?
He got hit by the car the end of May of 2002 and died first week of June.
Okay, so that was back in 2002 then.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and what was his name? Your brother?
Neil Mahoney.
Neil Mahoney. Okay, so then, to get back to where we were then, so it's June, and you're moving into the apartments there in Langley.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
We left August 1st.
okay. So what happened between June and July, and just, were you working at the hair studio at the
Uh-huh.
time? Just be still?
Yep.
And what was Jim doing?
Everything I needed him to do in preparation to move.
Okay,
Taking my kids to swimming lessons for me and playing music sometimes with his friends in Port Townsend. There's a band in Port Townsend that he knows and plays with occasionally. Actually played in the festival over at Port Townsend that summer.
so obviously he's a musician. What instrument does he play?
Guitar.
It's a guitar. And he sounds like he sings also. Did you say you wrote and sang a song for your...
Yeah, he's not a great singer, but yeah, he does sing every now and then.
Okay. Okay. So now, and then we can jump forward to August. And then
August 1st, I believe, we hit the road and drove a big 26-foot Penske truck down to Vegas.
Okay.
And actually, 4th of July weekend, I flew down here and found the house and stuff.
The house that you currently rent.
I really don't get that many. Oh. Hello? Yeah, hi, Phil. I'm in the Henderson's police station, but they haven't arrested me yet. Sorry, fellas. This, I don't know two people to rattle and just tell you guys.
Okay, yeah, so
Okay. So you flew down to like the July 4th weekend or whatever, and to
right
get
before
things
July 4th,
Now,
yeah.
what made you decide to come to Las Vegas or Henderson?
Well, Henderson was because I did research on the schools before I came, and that's the school district I wanted to be in. There were 3 middle schools I was interested in, so I just told the realtor, find me a house where my kids will go to these schools. Las Vegas, because it's my kind of town. You know, it's 24 hours. I'm a night owl. As you know, on Whidbey Island, after 11 p.m., you pretty much twiddle your thumbs and
Where can you go with me up to 11?
Yeah, I was going to say 9-ish.
Like a 9-ish.
And being a single woman, Las Vegas is perfect. So I've always been the adventurous one in my family, and so. And plus, you know what? You get more visitors here than anywhere else in the country.
Sounds like it. So, how did you obviously you came down here. Did you have a job already set up?
No.
How'd that come about?
Actually, a friend of Jim's that went to school with my sister Sue, also from Whidbey Island, works for a cab company down here. And he told my boss about me, and I was hired over the phone.
So you went right from being a hairdresser to driving for the limo company. What's the? Yeah, you don't actually drive a cab, though. Obviously.
No, I drive
You
limousine.
drive a limousine for a presidential limousine.
Correct.
And the friend that got you, that referred you, is
Scott Mickelson.
Okay. He also grew up in Whidbey Island, you said.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, we have to go through some
That's
stuff again
fine.
because I just want to make sure we have everything right. Okay, so from when do you think you started working for the limo company?
I got hired September 27th,
Okay.
2003.
All right, and at that time, obviously you're living in a house that's for your children who can go to school and all those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
They're all residing with you, and is Jim also living with you at that time?
Yes.
So that's September of 2003.
Yes.
How about October?
I just worked. The kids went to school.
And how does your job schedule work?
There's no schedule. I mean, I get called the night before for what's available during the day shift, and I choose what I want. And then during the day, I'll get a call and telling me what's available that night, and I choose what I want. So day to day, it's different.
So you don't work a set schedule?
No.
And how does that, as far as vacations and things like that, how does that work?
Well, I told my boss when he was asking me to work there that I take a lot of vacations and he might not want me to be in his employ.
You told him up front?
Yeah, I'm very upfront, I told you that. And he told me that that was okay. I told him I had half of November already scheduled to go back up. I told him I had half of December already scheduled to be back up there.
Back up.
And up north to work and do hair, because I'd scheduled my clients before I ever moved away for November and December.
And we talked before, you said that's a regular practice?
No, it's just I have clients up there that loved me and loved the way I did their hair. And it was for the holidays. I didn't take new clients for over 2 years up there. So that was that. He said fine. Actually took a week in April. I took 4 weeks off this summer, so he's good with me that way.
That's nice to have a lot of work. Yeah. Okay. So when we talked on the 4th, you said that Russ had called you.
Oh yeah, in October. Well, he did call me. I don't know if I called him first or he called me first, but we tried to touch base while he was down here because he was down for, I think, just a couple days with his girlfriend.
Okay. And do you remember her name?
If you give me a minute, I will. Marge.
So when you called him or he called you, how you knew he was down here somehow?
Yeah, actually, I think Brenna told me he was coming down. So, and she told him to call me while he was down here.
So you guys called back and forth, but you didn't get a chance to see each other? Right?
Not between, I think, my work and what they were doing, so.
Okay. All right, how about November 2003?
November, I went up to Whidbey.
Do you remember what date that was?
I was there for Thanksgiving, so I think I worked the Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday before Thanksgiving, so I would have had to go in probably the Thursday before that. But I most likely flew in the Wednesday or Thursday, right before the week before Thanksgiving.
So Thanksgiving was on the 26th, and that would have been the week before that? Like
Yeah,
19th?
probably the 18th or 19th.
18th or 19th, okay. And what were you doing up there at that time?
Well, we stayed at Richard Deposit's house.
Okay.
He owns a house there, but he doesn't live there. So,
And you described the location of the house before. Where was it?
Useless Bay.
Useless Bay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I worked and did clients' hair. Spent Thanksgiving with my family over in Seattle.
And that would be your sister Sue and or the whole group?
My mom came over too.
So that puts us to November 26th or so for Thanksgiving?
And we stayed at the Marriott at the airport at our last couple days over Thanksgiving also.
Okay. And when you say we, who's with you?
Jim?
And your daughters, were they up here or did they come up with you?
They flew up with me and stayed the entire month because she was on year-round school and she had that time out of school and came back because she had to go back to school. So, but while they were up there, the bulk of their time they spent with their dad. They were with me for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Actually, we had a Thanksgiving little informal dinner with Kelvin and his girlfriend. Jim and I did, and the kids.
Who's Kelvin's girlfriend?
At the time, it was Debbie Brandt, but it's not. She's not his girlfriend now.
Okay.
But she was over through all the holidays. And then we took the kids with us down to Seattle and we had dinner at, I think, the Sheraton in Seattle.
Now, was it after the Thanksgiving get-together with your family, or?
No, that was with my family. My sister
Oh.
wasn't ready to have holidays in her house after the death of her husband, so we had it at the Sheraton.
So everybody got together there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when did you guys fly back?
And I flew back. Jim drove back because he drove my car up so we wouldn't have to rent a car for that whole 10 whatever days we were up there. We flew back, I think, the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Saturday after Thanksgiving. So I haven't driven from Whidbey Island to Las Vegas. How long does it take to drive?
I'm a driver, so for a Whidbey Island police officer, probably 23 hours for me. Takes 20 to 21 hours. But that's not, I just stop for gas and coffee.
Just
and
go. So did Jim leave to drive up here, or to drive up to Whidbey Island? Did he leave before you, or did you guys fly out?
He left, no, I think he left a day prior and he stayed with, he stayed the night with Ron and Carrie Young in Seattle, Tukwila,
Okay, and those are friends of his?
and Sue's and Neil's.
Okay, so that's a whole family, that whole group of old friends then. Did they grow up on Whidbey Island too?
They didn't grow up on Whidbey, but their parents had a house on the beach, on Columbia Beach. And his parents are friends with my parents, and so we were at that beach house all the time as kids, and that's a big connection there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They still live there, his parents do.
So when you flew back, did Jim come back at the same time, or?
Yeah, he was back within, I think he drove straight through too, so.
So did he take you to the airport, or did you guys, I mean, did he leave like, when you checked out of Marriott to go fly, did he
Yeah,
get a car and drove then?
Yeah,
Okay. And that would have been the Saturday after Thanksgiving?
I believe so.
Okay.
To the best of my recollection. I mean, I could probably figure it out when I get my computer back. We can look on everything to you, because I made all the travel arrangements online, so.
Oh, okay. All right, so that pretty much closes out November then.
Mhm.
And so in December, obviously,
Jim, now I bought these tickets all together, like, pretty much in advance, so I thought he was gonna fly up, but then with finances and car rentals, he drove up. I think he left the day prior again. What did he do? He saw our friends, Rick and Kathy, early. I know before. He left in
17th or
December.
18th of
I
December.
think I flew out that, if I saw a calendar, I could tell you.
let's see, can we get it?
2000 and, what are we
Three.
doing? 2003. Can you read?
I brought my glasses because I'm getting older. My eyesight's getting better.
Does that happen to people that get older?
Not you?
Yeah.
Okay. We flew in on the 17th of December and stayed at this place on 196th, right by the freeway. I can't remember what it's called. It's right next to Bed Bath & Beyond. And I had a doctor's appointment the morning of the 18th in Linwood. And straight from my doctor's appointment, I went to work at Just Be on the island.
And that was still on the 17th?
Now, the 17th we flew in and spent the night, the morning of the 18th at a doctor's appointment.
Doesn't?
And, yes. Yeah. They tell me what the bill I grab.
Gotta take it.
So, okay.
Okay, so,
Keep it up. Do you need it? If you-
Yeah.
well, probably easier that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the 17th, you flew into SeaTac, you stayed at, on 196, in that
Yeah.
Comfort Suites or whatever that is, right?
Yeah, I think it is Comfort Suites or something like, right next to Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah, and you had a doctor's appointment
In the morning.
that same day?
No, in the morning, on the
On
18th.
the 18th, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then right after your doctor's appointment on the 18th, you said you,
I scheduled my clients to start at like noon or 1 or something like that, so I could do my doctor's appointment, get across the ferry and go to work.
okay,
So I worked the 18th and 19th.
just,
I
just,
think I was supposed to work the 20th, but most people rescheduled or canceled, and I had one client left that day, so I moved her to a different day so I could have that on.
okay. So what day, just so before we get too far out of here, what day did Jim leave from Henderson or Las Vegas? Did he take you guys to the airport or?
No, because I think he left, so if I'm not mistaken, I think he left on the 15th, stayed a night in Portland, drove up on the 16th and stayed with Ron and Carrie, and then picked us up at the airport on the 17th.
Okay.
Why did he drive and you flew?
Have you ever priced a rental car for 10 days?
Mm.
It's like $600
Yeah.
versus 120 in gas.
And when he drove up here, he was driving in your Lexus?
Yeah.
And that's the one that's fiery red. Spelled, which one is that one? Which one? That was spelled
F-I-R-Y-R-E-D.
R-E. Okay. And that's because you have two vehicles registered with a similar person's
Correct.
plate. And the other one is spelled,
F-I-E-R-Y-R-D.
and that one's on your Mitsubishi.
Correct.
Okay. So so the 17th he picked you guys up from the airport,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had your appointment, the doctor appointment was the next day. So you guys stayed that night at the Alderwood Comfort.
I think it was the Comfort.
Okay. And then the 18th you went to the island, or after your doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
You went to the island, and you did your hair.
Yes, and we stayed at Richard is his name, we have all called him Dick, so we stayed at Dick Deposit's house. I know that name just cracks me up.
Would that have been
too, but
on the 18th also then?
Yes.
That's the night after you got done?
18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, and 22nd, we stayed those nights at his house.
Okay. And during that time while you were on the island, what were you doing at that time?
Visiting and went out, and I'm not sure who we saw because we were up there a month apart, but got together with at China City with friends, Pam and Jim Mock, and Henry and Teresa Pope, Dean and Kathy Hatt. So just visited.
Okay. And during that time, like you said, you were staying at Mr. Deposit's house.
Mm-hmm.
And were your daughters with you at that time, or were they with their
No,
dad?
they were with their dad.
Okay, so like you said, up here with their dad since Thanksgiving time, I guess.
Mhm.
And then you brought her with you, and then she stayed with her dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they didn't come home until they flew home together on January 3rd. They went back to school on the 5th,
Okay.
so.
All right, so you stayed at Mr. DePaz's house until you stayed the night, the 22nd, which would have been a Monday night then?
Yes.
And then what happened?
I went to work on the 23rd,
And where'd you work at?
just bees,
Okay.
and Jim's chore for that day was just to clean up Dick's house and get ready and then come get me. And we would hit the ferry after I got off work and go check into the Marriott, finish up any little Christmas shopping.
Was there a reason you guys were staying at the Marriott other than?
Yeah, we always stayed there. There's an indoor pool, and my sister's daughter is my children's age, and Ron and Carrie's boys are the girls' age. And all the rooms have a little lanai outside the hotel, and then the pool's in there, so the adults could sit there and visit, and the kids were in the pool. In fact, there's times we rented that hotel, even when I lived up there, just so we could all get together and the kids could play, so.
Okay. So, that day when you were working with, was Brenna working that day?
Yeah.
And you talked before about there was a kind of a gift.
Yes.
Can you tell me more about that?
Actually, Brenna is a bubble bath person. And I am not. I mean, I told you that. I take showers and I'm not into all the fluff. So I wanted to give her a basket of things that I knew she'd use. And I knew if I gave it to her, she'd run out and get something for me, which is not the whole point of giving someone a gift. And there's a bath store, Whidbey's Bath something in the village. I don't remember what it's called. Whidbey Soap Company, I think, maybe. And so I asked her, she picked out a gift for my girlfriend. And so she essentially picked out her own gift. And, or she picked out the items to go in there. And I went over and picked it up on my way out.
You went and picked it up from where?
The soap company.
Oh, okay. So she just left it at the soap company then?
Yeah. And when I got across the ferry, that was pretty close to when I got off work, when I picked it up. And I got across the ferry and I called Russ. I don't know if I got his voicemail. There's a couple calls back and forth. I know when I talked to him, he was in the middle of running errands and said I asked him what time he was. I said, are you getting ready to head to the island yet? And he goes, no, I probably won't leave till late. I got a lot to do. So we checked into the room later, called him again from the room, and brought the gift over to his apartment that night.
Okay. And how did that go as far as bringing the gift over to Russ?
Originally, I was pooped and didn't want to go. I asked Jim to bring it. And he did. But then he came back after about 10 minutes into it and left the directions, flustered.
So he could never find it, or?
No, he didn't even go. He left the directions and came back, and I ended up going with him. He drove. Jim lived in the Seattle area, so usually when we were there, if we're not right on I-5, he drives. So, Russ was coming out of the apartments as we were getting there, right about the door. We gave him a gift, and he gave us a ride to our car.
Jim was gonna go there to give the present to Russ because you were tired by himself. Has he ever met Jim before?
Hadn't met him before now.
And he was just going by the instructions or directions that
Russ gave him over the phone.
So they had talked on the phone?
Yeah.
Okay. And they never met before that time, though, as far as you know?
Sorry.
That's okay. Okay. So then you end up He comes back because he forgot the directions or whatever.
Yeah, he's
Frustrated, I'm sure.
yes.
There's nothing like being in traffic in Seattle at Christmas time.
Well, I don't even know that there was huge traffic. It's just night and, so.
So then you guys end up taking the basket to Russell's apartment. And
Right.
did you go inside the apartment
No.
or never got inside the apartment? He mentioned you outside. Did he say where he was going?
To the gym
He
to
was
work
going
out.
out. Do you remember how he was dressed or anything?
I remember he was wearing spandex shorts and a bandana. Other than that,
Was that normal for him, I mean, as far as you knew?
the bandana was something I'd never seen before. The spandex shorts, yeah, always.
Okay.
Sorry. He shouldn't have wore them during.
Okay. So that was the night of the 23rd. And then after you guys gave him the gift and you said he gave you a ride?
From my recollection, the apartments are like all these separate buildings, and we couldn't really see the building number. So we parked and ended up walking like a building or two over. And so we're getting ready to walk back. He said he'd just give us a ride.
And so you got a ride, and what was he driving at the time?
His tracker.
Russ, the yellow one.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, okay, so how late do you think that was?
I'm thinking it was 9-ish.
PM?
Yeah.
9 PM. So this was after you worked all day already, and you guys...
I didn't have a too long day, but yeah, and fought Seattle traffic and
Okay. And what'd you guys do after that? Did you...
went back to the room.
Russ dropped you off at your car, or...
And we went back to the Marriott.
Okay. And then, so still it's just you and Jim then?
Yeah.
Your daughter's still with your ex-husband. All right, so then what happened on the next day? Which would have been...
We got up, got ready, and we went to my sister's house for Christmas Eve.
And which sister was that?
Sue Mahoney
Okay,
and
so-
Edmund.
Okay.
Yeah, I have.
Before you weren't sure
Five
which
sisters.
sister was
I know, and I actually had to ask her what day we spent with her because I knew one was with one sister and one was with the other. Now I remembered once because she was going down Christmas Day to Longview to spend with her late husband's family. So
Oh, okay. So you guys did Christmas Eve basically with Sue then?
yeah,
At her house then?
at her home with my ex-husband and his girlfriend, my kids, my mom, and my sister's 10-year-old and 33-year-old.
Wow, that's quite a space.
Yeah.
All right, so after the dinner, what happens after dinner? Or to get together? Is that a whole day affair or?
Pretty much all day, and I know, and in the evening we went back to the Marriott.
Okay. And then on Christmas, the 25th?
We slept in. I believe that Christmas Day we went to the Youngs in Tukwila, because they're not far from the airport. I think it was that day. I know there was a day in there that we were staying in Seattle where we went by their house and visited, and I'm pretty sure we spent Christmas Eve with her family and we were around.
So Christmas could have been you went out.
I think so, during the day. And then we drove to Woodinville to meet my other sister, Brenna.
Okay. Did you guys have dinner at her house already? You had dinner?
No, we met at a Chinese restaurant.
I knew there was something about Chinese restaurant.
Well, it's because her boyfriend's sister is a bartender there and she had to work.
Oh,
So that his whole family wanted to spend it there so she could be part of the festivities. So,
took the Christmas to her since she couldn't be
Yeah.
there. That's cool. All right, and how about that day? Was that another full day?
yeah, we got home. I know it was, I'm thinking 10 to 11 maybe, because I think we met her around 7.
So
I know, yeah, I know it was a rainy night because driving to Woodinville wasn't fun. We did spend a couple hours there.
Okay. So we went back to the hotel then,
Yeah,
and then of course that leads us to the next day, which is the 26th.
yeah, we checked out pretty early. I don't know an exact time, but it was in time. I believe we were on the 9 a.m. ferry to Whidbey.
Okay.
The next thing on our schedule was to hit Port Townsend. So it was a choice of driving the peninsula or going via Whidbey. They're both kind of a crapshoot. But we had a key from Dick's house still that we wanted to drop off.
Okay.
So we caught the boat, went to Dick's, getting ready to leave the key, and ended up staying there for a little while to finish doing what Jim should have done on the 23rd.
What did Jim not do?
He hadn't finished making the bed, and the sheets were not dry, and so we stayed and dried the sheets, made the bed.
So would Mr. Deposit have been upset if that hadn't been done? I mean, obviously, it's just courtesy to do something like that, but is he the type of person that would...
His house has nothing out of order. I mean, even if you sit on his couch and rearrange a pillow, when he walks by, he'll put it back in place. That's pretty much how he is.
Very meticulous, then.
He is. He's an accountant. And I think with the generosity that he extended us to stay in his house for 2 holidays, it was just nothing I would leave undone. It's just not me.
So the sheets, you had washed the sheets previously, or Jim had...
Jim had thrown them in the washer
Okay.
and forgot about the rest. So threw them in the dryer and waited.
So they weren't, from sitting in that washer, they weren't musty or...
Well, I threw a dryer sheet in there.
How long do you think it took? I mean, are we talking like a whole set of bedding type thing?
Yeah.
Or are we talking full load of drying?
Yeah,
How long do you think that took?
probably an hour.
Okay. And then after that, you guys obviously made the bed and picked up any other little things that...
Yeah, I think Jim might have even grabbed some trash out of the kitchen or something, stuck it in the garage.
Didn't you go for cigarettes, didn't you tell me?
Yeah, there was a point during the time where sheets were in the dryer where he went and got cigarettes.
Or cigar.
Yeah, he smoked Swisher Sweet Cherries.
Cherries. And you described this last time to me because I always think of cigars as being...
No,
you said
they're in a cigarette pack,
cigarette.
and there's not many stores that sell them. So the one I know of that does sell them is Casey's. So I'm assuming that's where he went.
And Casey's from used to stay is how far away?
Not far. Probably 5-8 minutes.
Driving time.
Yeah,
Okay. How long was he gone?
probably 15 minutes. I mean, I don't remember. I don't have a pinpoint, but in thinking about how long it would take him to drive there and come back, and I know it wasn't very long. So
Okay. I think previously you told me half an hour, so that's why I'm asking.
I don't think I said half an hour.
Okay. So you're saying 15 minutes then?
I'm saying
I just want to make sure I get it right, because
No,
if I was
it's fine.
misunderstanding before, I want to
I'm saying it as long as, I'm not thinking he was gone very long, and I don't remember thinking, wow, where'd you stop off on, because it was, just go get cigarettes and come back, so.
Okay. When he came back, did he have cigarettes?
He was smoking one.
Okay, so he must have got some somewhere because he didn't have any before. That's what caused him to go out, right?
Right.
Okay.
And the lady next door saw it, didn't she?
Oh, that's what she did. Dick's neighbor saw us when we got there that morning.
Okay. Well, do you know her name? Or...
I don't. I know, and the only reason I remember is because she was in her driveway.
Okay.
And she was either greeting guests or saying goodbye to guests or something. There were other people in her driveway in a car.
Do you think that would have stuck out in her mind that she saw you guys there?
I don't know. I just remember seeing her.
Seen her. Okay. And do you think she would have recognized you, or do you think does Mr. Deposit have people visit?
I don't think many people stay at his house
Okay.
ever, so,
So if there's somebody
on the
there,
right side as you look at the house.
Yes,
So if I drove into the Mr. Deposit's driveway, it'd be on the right side?
yeah.
On the side. Okay.
So if she had people staying with her or visiting her, I'm sure she would have a time.
Well, if you guys rode the 9 a.m. boat to Whidbey, did you do anything between the boat and going to Dick's house?
Did you tell me you missed the 9 a.m.? It was a line you paid for.
No, that was the
Oh,
next
the
ferry.
next ferry, yeah. Get my ferries.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
I know Jim called the 1-800 number for the ferries from Dick's house to see what the schedule was for Port Townsend.
Mhm.
And the next boat we could drive to make it to was the noon boat up there. So,
While you were at the house, you told me you made a phone call.
to my girlfriend Siobhan that works at Just.
And did you actually talk to her?
No,
You didn't talk to her.
no. I knew I wouldn't talk to her.
Okay, so you left a message on
Yeah.
at her home phone then, or at the?
Yes.
Okay.
They had left for Hawaii. And no one did. They don't ever answer their phone. So,
Like your home phone, you don't get you on your cell phone, you don't get to?
well, yeah, and nobody calls. Nobody has my home phone number, so when it rings, it's like, wow. Yeah, I always leave a message for her. And her and I have worked together. We worked together for 3 years. We left every salon we were at together. You know, so a little pair for a while.
So other than the Baker Street Air Theater, where else did you guys work together?
Studio A.
Okay. All right, and then, so did you guys, got everything cleaned up or whatever, and then you went to the ferry?
Yeah,
Now,
we
we're
hung out
talking-
at Dick's for a little while.
2 ferries on the island, right? The one,
We went to the Keystone Ferry.
Keystone Ferry, okay. And did you catch the noon ferry?
No, in fact, we hung out till, I was trying to put it together in my head because I don't really know, but I'm thinking it takes like 20 minutes to get up there.
Yeah, probably something like that.
And me being an island girl, no, you have to get there a little early to catch the boat. And I thought if we got there by 20 till, or, we'd be on that noon boat, but there was a little line. So we had to pass by the ferry thing and do that little loop, and come back down.
Way down the road.
And it wasn't a huge line, so I still thought we might get on. And I know we paid before noon, because I remember maybe we'll make this boat. And we just sat in one of the lanes, and we had to be on the next boat.
How'd you guys pay for the ferry?
I paid cash, which I wish I had that little receipt, but who keeps all those?
Yeah.
I stick them in the side of my door when I clean out my car.
And I forgot, the Port Townsend ferries, they run, and Keystone, Port Townsend ferry, they run what, is it 45 minutes?
I think it's 45 minutes, because I think we were on a boat like at 12:45.
Yeah, it seems like they run that.
So,
Okay. So about 12:45.
yeah.
And then what happened?
We went and visited Bill and Jesse Marley.
And Jesse's, Bill's
His wife.
wife.
Yeah,
And that was we're still talking about on 26.
correct.
And how long did you stay with them?
I'm thinking hour to hour and a half.
Okay. And we talked a little bit before, but so Bill Marlowe what's the relationship between you and Bill Marlowe, or Jim and Bill Marlowe?
Jim used to run the golf course over in Port Townsend. For 3 years, he lived there and ran the golf course. And it's the golf course that Dick Deposit owns. So,
Oh, so he's more than just an accountant.
yeah, he's very successful. And Bill Marlowe is a businessman, self-employed businessman, and also a musician. So when we would be up north, Jim would play with their band. And that's the connection there. They were friends during his time running the golf course.
Okay. So an hour and a half there. Does he actually live in Port Townsend with the ferry docks, or does he live
It's a little bit of a drive
out
out.
of town?
When you get off the ferry, you take a left.
Okay.
And then
So you
there's,
follow the regular road like you go to Port Angeles or whatever?
yeah, and then there's a part where you veer off to the left, and all I know how to recognize his house is because there's a big Jesus sign right before you have to turn and go to his house. So
Like a church or just a sign like?
I think it used to be a church or a little gas station or something, and somebody put a
Big Jesus sign.
Jesus loves you sign or something like that. So
Okay, so you were with Bill and Jesse for about an hour and a half. Did they just visiting
Hang out
or
and
not
everything.
playing instruments or anything?
No.
No band practice or anything?
no.
Okay.
And then we headed down the peninsula because we had plans for dinner with my sister. I think I told you before it was Vancouver, but it was Longview. That's where she was at. So, and Rick and Kathy early drove up from Portland and met us there. We had dinner. It was just off the freeway. I think it was a hotel with a restaurant in it, but maybe a Howard Johnson's or something, but I'm not quite sure.
How are you guys figuring out where everybody's going to meet from Portland? And did you guys plan to meet somewhere
We
specific?
planned to meet for dinner, but I didn't know the specifics until calling my sister when we were on the road. And
So you had your cell phone.
yeah,
Do you know if you had service while you were, cell phone service while you were out there?
it was patchy going down the peninsula.
Yeah, because my service is, you have next to line. Yeah, I have awful service out there.
So yeah, there were times where I didn't and times where I did.
Which sister is that?
Sue.
Right, same one, okay.
She's the one who just had a 50th birthday.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. And so you guys have dinner and with the Earleys,
Mhm.
your sister Sue Mahoney.
The earliest son, I can't remember his name.
Okay.
It's their only child, so.
Now how old
And
is he?
he's in college, so I'm thinking he's around 20 maybe. And my sister's daughter, Sarah. So
And so it was kind of you guys' chance to get together before you went back. Because you guys were on your way
that's big.
back to Vegas. And was there a reason to go back to Vegas? Was there something waiting for you guys to?
Well, I lived here.
Well, I know, but I mean, other than visiting, was there a reason that, yeah, I mean, sometimes you take vacations for 2 weeks or a week or?
I had to be back to work for New Year's Eve,
Okay.
but I hate coming back
And then
a
have,
day, And my girlfriend Vicky had transferred from Houston to Vegas for her job,
Mhm.
and so she was at my house. She got there a day or two before Christmas.
Oh, so she was already staying in your house?
Yeah,
And how did she, I mean, if you guys were gone already, how was she in the house?
because she dates Scott Mickelson,
Oh,
so we gave him the key before we left.
prior planning.
Yes,
So she was staying there.
yeah.
And because I've been to your house before, I know that you also have a nanny, or did have a nanny at the time that I was there. Should
Yeah.
you still employ your nanny, or?
She just got back yesterday.
Okay, and she is,
Well, I don't pay her anything.
oh. Okay, I guess that's why we're here, to make sure I don't have any misunderstandings. So basically
She lives there for free in exchange for taking care of my kids and doing things for me, so.
so does she have a job on the side? that she
She's
does?
searching right now.
And her name is
Sarah Hart.
Sarah Hart, okay. All right. So after you guys have dinner with your sister and the Earleys, and your sister's daughter and their son,
Yeah,
how long do you guys think was a typical restaurant dinner, an hour,
Yeah.
hour and a half of
Yeah.
talking?
yeah.
And do you know about what time that was?
I know we met at 7, so I'm thinking we probably left around 8:30.
Okay. And where to from there?
Well, my goal was to get to the pass in Oregon, Grants
Grants
Pass.
Pass. Yeah, it's a bad one that time of year.
And I said, if we can get there, I know, I can drive through whatever snow in the morning and I won't have that huge drive ahead. But when we hit Grants Pass, it was clear. So I just kept driving.
So you were driving back.
Yeah, I like to drive.
So when you guys are together most of the time, do you drive or does Jim drive or?
I'll drive almost all the time unless we're in Seattle because he knows all the roads and back streets and things, so.
So up on the island, and down the peninsula, that was you driving?
Mhm.
Okay. And you said earlier you bought the airplane tickets and then you guys decided for Jim to drive. Did you buy a ticket for Jim also?
Yep,
But then you was it a changeable ticket or a refundable ticket?
it's changeable. You better use it before the year's up.
Okay. So he still has that option. All right, so you guys drove in, so how long did it take? When do you think you got home? Do you remember?
Well, I know when I got home because by the time we hit I think it's Bakersfield or something, a few hours out of Vegas. I was tired but not willing to stay in a hotel when I'm that close to home. And then when we pulled into Vegas, I didn't feel like dealing with Vicky and Scott and chattering, and so we checked into Sunset Station Hotel down the street from our house.
Okay, is that the one that's like on Sunset Avenue?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
First time I'm trying to get familiar with this place.
I think it was around 2:30 or 3, right in there.
In the afternoon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you guys basically drove I-5 all the way down. Once you cleared, did you get back on I-5 once you cleared?
99, somewhere along the way we hit 99. I think that maybe it's at Fresno or something that it splits off.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And then you get to Barstow
Right, yeah,
and
like
hit
that.
15.
And the 15 brings you right into
Yeah.
Okay. And so that would have been 2:30 or 3 o'clock on the
27.
27. Okay. And you had to work the first. And you guys
No,
worked
I had to work New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve, so the 31st.
31st.
Okay.
So we stayed, I know we waited till the
Sunset.
last minute to check out and go to my house.
Is it a problem between you guys, or?
No, I was just exhausted, and when I'm tired, I just don't like anybody to talk to me or bug me or ask me, how's she doing, and how was karaoke at China City, and, because Vicky and I
They want the full report.
chat like
How do you know
crazy.
Vicky? Now, Vicky we're talking about is Vicky,
Boyer.
we already said that. I don't know if we already mentioned what it
She
was.
grew up on Whidbey Island also.
Okay.
Family of 18 kids. I'm from a family of 9.
Philadelphia.
And she was also the manager at Studio A.
Oh, okay, so you guys all know each other
Where
from
New York.
the hair
Chicago.
business.
Yeah, well, I knew her family before that.
Right, okay.
So-
Everybody grew up and,
Yeah.
you guys about the same age then, or?
She's older than I am, but she has 2 younger sisters. And I knew who her family was, but I wasn't friends back then. But
Okay. So you guys get back on the 27th, and you stay at Sunset Station because you just...
and she knew. I called her, and she had the room number, and told her, if she needed us to call.
Or like leave me alone.
I just wanted, crash. So
Okay, so the 28th,
we got home, and I think we went straight from the hotel home, so it was probably 11 checkout time. And just hung out with her.
you Scott there.
If he wasn't there when we got there, he was there sometime because they were inseparable. So when he wasn't working, he was with her.
Okay.
And she was already working too. She went straight to work, so I don't know which days she was in and out a lot.
So the 26th will be Friday, 27th will be a Saturday, that 28th will be a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
What does she do for work? Tell me.
She's a manager at CVS Pharmacy.
Huh.
So,
At one of the ones local, she managed like a group of them, or she just
No,
one
just
specific
one.
one? Okay. What, do you know which one she manages?
right now she's at the Maryland Parkway and Desert Inn.
Okay. All right, so the 29th, back to Monday.
I think we just hung around the house until I had to go back to work.
So that would have been 29th, 30th.
Yeah, I went back to work on the 31st,
Okay.
so. And actually, my dispatcher called me on one of those days, and there wasn't a ton of work, and she likes me a lot, so rather than make me come in and do, it's quite a chore to go in to do one job. You have to set up your whole car and stock it and clean it, so it's really not worth it. And I remember her saying, "You're caught in that snowstorm in the Grants Pass, aren't you?" I'm like, sure. She said, good, we'll see you on the 31st. So I remember that. And
Helping you out then.
well, and that, it made me remember that it dumped snow the night, right, the next day after we got across the pass. So I was glad that I kept driving.
Okay. So finally, we get to the New Year's, or New Year's Eve, you worked New Year's Eve,
Mm-hmm.
and then,
But New Year's Eve is the start of the busiest season.
so why is that? I'm not that familiar with that. What is it?
Conventions,
So everybody likes to come to
huge
town in the first place.
convention. The biggest convention I think probably in the country. It brings like 150,000 people here. Plus I had a regular client comes for a week at a time, and I was working crazy hours.
Okay. Trying to make sure we meet your schedule.
Yeah,
So now we're into January.
yeah,
Now Jim is still here with you, is that correct, in the first part of January?
yes,
And January 3rd, your daughter's come home from
yep.
being with her dad. And where's Kelvin living now? And at that time when you guys, obviously he wasn't living on Decker anymore.
No, he had moved to, he was only staying on the island because of the girls. And once they came to Vegas, he moved over to the mainland in Bothell. So,
And he still lives in at that same place where he moved to?
no, he left his girlfriend and got an apartment, so.
Oh, so now, what town does he live in now?
It's still Bothell.
Oh, still in Bothell?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so was Jim there when the girls got back?
He was, and then he left shortly after,
Okay.
telling me that he needed to go back, finish up his divorce.
So he, at that point, he'd been living with you for 6 months, since June?
End of May is when
End of May.
he, yeah,
Did he work while he was,
no?
what did he do? Do you know what he did during the day other than, you said he took the kids to swim lessons and,
He'd come down and meet me for lunch and bring me lunch and do all my errands. He'd go visit people that he grew up with. I mean, this was a perfect summer for him, I guess, you know.
so during that time he would drive your car then? Okay. And
His car was in Vegas.
his car was still in Vegas?
He drove from Florida to Vegas. I met him, we went house hunting together. This was the end of May. And then we flew up to Washington.
So during that time he didn't go home, he was with you that whole 6 months then? And you were under the assumption that he told you or whatever, but what was the relationship between him and his wife?
That they were going through a divorce.
Okay. And that's what, did
I
he tell you
knew.
that or?
I knew in the beginning. When he left in May, that's what he told me. He left, let her know he was gone for good and not coming back. So starting in May is when
2003.
yeah,
Okay.
is when I was under the assumption that that was the scenario. And I found out later it wasn't.
Okay. And then let's jump again to 2004, then January of 2004, he's getting ready to leave.
Yes.
And what, do you know what day that was?
I'm thinking the 4th. I think he was only here when the girls got home and then left the next day.
And he was going to go finalize
His divorce.
his divorce. And then what happened?
Just questions arose on the phone from me, you know, and things not seeming right. And every time there was another excuse why he needed another week or whatever. And
So time had passed, we're not just talking like a couple days.
right.
How much time do you think had passed before you started to think that maybe, how long was he supposed to be for?
He didn't tell me how long he'd be gone. And so I assumed, you know, 2 weeks was in my head. He never told me that, but so when the time was drawn closer to when I thought he should be back, all the excuses started coming, you know, and pretty far-fetched. One of them was that they had a big federal tax lien on the business and he needed to be there to help her save the business. And you'll find all that on my computer because I did some extensive investigating through the courts down there, and sent away for all the paperwork that had ever gone through their business because I wanted to know. And that her mom was dying, and that was true, and it was a horrible death, and that I felt very bad for her. So actually I mailed her a book, but I sent it in Vicky's name, so.
So, okay, now, I think we jumped ahead a little bit here. How did you make a connection with
Well, I didn't have a connection with her at that time, but I felt bad for her that her mom was dying. And there was a book that I had that I knew would help her. And so she knew of Vicky because of Scott, so I just sent it and signed it from Vicky. So I wanted her to have the book, but I didn't.
Didn't want her to have another name to...
Yeah, to hurt her
Wonder what
or
was going
anything,
on.
so.
And that was, I think that was still in January that you did that?
No, it was a week before Valentine's Day, because that was right when her mom died.
When you were communicating with Jim, he was giving you an excuse for you calling the house, his house, or
He had my cell phone.
he had your cell phone? So you have 2 cell phones on your account, isn't that right?
Yes,
And your cell phone number
0115
and his cell phone number
was
was?
0356.
And last time we talked, it was still connected, but now it's no longer.
Yeah, it's my kids'
Oh, okay.
so,
So it's still connected, but now your daughter's using it.
right.
Okay. Okay. So that's how you guys were communicating back and forth by your cell phones.
Yeah, there were times I'd call his house, I think, too. I'm a fiery red, you know? I don't sit back and wait for someone to give me answers, so. I told him to be home by Valentine's Day or don't come home at all. So we made it back on Valentine's Day.
Okay, so there we are, February 14th, right? So he comes back?
Gifts in hand for my girls and me, and
Now, he's driving back before that. We talked about his car, but I never did. What kind of car was he driving?
he is a 98 Sebring, Chrysler Sebring,
What color is it?
red,
Is it registered in
Florida.
Florida? Okay. All right, so he's back on February 14th, just like you said. He
Mhm.
should be, and he was. And what happened?
I had to work part of that day, and when I got home, we talked, and the next day he informed me that he had to go back. And it was this big thing about how the business was in trouble, and he couldn't leave her that way, and I asked if I'd wait for him, and I was like, I'm done, you know, we went through this huge crying scene, and I got to I said, if I can come down on the first week in April when the girls are gone for spring break, then I'll wait until April. And he said, okay. And he sat my kids down on the bed, told them he'd be back, and I told him not to do that if he didn't intend on it, you know, and I believed him. So I went down in April. Actually flew down a day and a half earlier than I told him I was coming, so I could do some investigating. And I met a New York cop while I was down there who I told him the scenario, and he agreed to be my husband for the night, and we crashed a party that Jim's band was playing at. And I let him see me there. And the look on his face, I could tell, was one of terror, because, and I just kind of knew in my gut. So,
Did he see you with this other person?
oh yeah, but he knows me well enough to know I grabbed someone off the street to come in there with me.
So the look of terror was seeing your rival or seeing
Yes,
somebody else?
mine, because he knew his double life was about to come to an end.
How's that?
So he called me, or no, he didn't even call me the next morning, and it's getting close to checkout time.
How do you know where you were? Did he know you were going to be where you were going to be staying specifically, or I mean, how?
Yeah, I had let him know that I'd gotten, before I flew down, I'd let him know where the room was for one night, and then we had reservations out of town in Clearwater for a weekend. He didn't call me that morning at all before checkout. So I called and left a message on their home phone machine, which his wife got. And my message was that if he didn't get in touch with me, I'd come over to the house. And he had just told, the only reason I know some of this is because Jean and I talk now, and so, but he had just told her he wanted to lay around and be lazy all day, And after that message came, he had the urge to just be gone all day, and so he told her he wanted to run and do all these errands. Then he finally called me and said, give me 1 hour, and he goes, after that message you left, she's just angry, and she wants to, you know, hurt me and hurt you, and if you met the woman, you'd know different, but, so I said, okay, an hour. An hour goes by, a few hours go by, and I'm worried now because he's saying that she's, you know, wants to do some harm to him. So I actually went to the police station and filed a report. That's how worried I was. And I know they're thinking I'm this crazy mistress, you know, but I called his brother Joe.
Did he say how he might hurt her? Or she might hurt him?
That she had a gun. So, and she does have one.
So you know, how do you know she has a gun?
Because she told me she did.
Oh, did she tell you what kind it was?
No.
Okay.
So, she said a big one. So she's got a big. So, anyway, I called his brother, Joe, and I talked to Jamie, his wife, and she said, that doesn't sound like Gene, but anyway.
So how, if you don't mind me interrupting, just to get into things. So here on the island, where James has grown up and knows all these people, you two are being seen together.
Yep.
Nobody thinks to call Jim's wife and let her know what's going on.
Well,
I mean, I'm just curious now.
I
Now
know
that you've laid all that,
I know that's typical Whidbey Island behavior, but in most of the rest of the world, people actually mind their own business. So, no one would do that.
Nobody would do that. Okay. Okay. So you got the Punta Gorda police. Did you guys go to the house?
Well, they wouldn't let me, obviously, but they did go to the house, and I had left a note on the door.
You actually already been to the house?
Oh, yeah.
Knocking on the door? Or...
Yeah, I went once, and they weren't there. Jim, I guess they had to go grocery shopping, and Jim left the grocery store while she was in there, went home, and that's when the police got there. So he deflected them again from getting her and I together anyway. Assured them he was okay, alive and well, and everything was fine. I think the police called me and told me everything was fine. The next day, some reason or other, Gene called my cell phone and left me a message that, you know, he's hers, quit stalking him, leave him alone. He had told her that I was this obsessed woman who had been stalking him, and he knew nothing about why I would be doing that, and so I called her back. The reason I didn't get her calls because I was on the phone with Jim at that time. He called me from this radio station where he disc jockeys. So I called her back and I said, this is Peggy, I'm returning your call. And she started just going off. I said, you know what? I'm not the woman you think I am. I don't know what he's been telling you, but anyway, we started talking, and I said, I think the only way to clear it up is to have all three of us in the same room. Why don't you call him and tell him to come home from work, and I'll meet you at your house. So that's what we did.
Was that the same day that the police were there and everything?
That was the next day.
So do you remember what day that was?
It was Sunday, April 3rd, April 4th. Yeah.
Okay.
You want an outside?
Yeah. Mr. Beach
Just took a water.
Are these yours?
Or replace it. Easily replace it.
I'll leave one with that.
So we talked for a couple hours, I think. And I liked her. And she liked me. In fact, we agreed that had we met under different circumstances, we probably would have been great friends. But we made him make a choice. And he chose to stay there, so I got up and left, and I was very composed, you know. But I still let him know he was a real jerk. The next day, he called me and asked me not to leave. Or maybe it was even that night. I think I flew home on Tuesday. 6. One of those days, he asked me not to leave, and I was...
Hello? Yeah, Tony, where are you? You have my driver's license, right? Okay, good. Where, excuse me, could we take just a break for a minute? I was gonna try to get a plane back tomorrow morning. Right, so what time you be here tonight?
I was at a girl from Whidbey Island who lives in Vegas as an attorney from California. Is
Well,
that,
Jerry has defended a lot of people here in Vegas.
oh,
A lot of people being,
Well, he works with
Oh,
Oscar
you're
Goodman,
trying.
and so, which
Yeah.
Jerry's a close friend of one of my close friends, so he referred me to
All
Jerry.
right, good. All
I
right.
was just curious.
Thanks. Okay, let's bring my driver's license.
that's good news.
But he's driving, he's not.
Oh, no, with your license, so if he gets pulled over. Anyway, I thought Jim was gonna just come and say goodbye in a way that he wanted to, because he, with his wife there, he couldn't really say,
Expresses.
right.
feelings.
And so, I got a room and stayed in Charlotte. And he came, I told him what room I was in. He showed up and said I couldn't leave. I couldn't come back to you until I was honest and told her it was over. So he had left her crying on the kitchen floor after the day before, saying he wanted to stay there.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Is that what really happened?
He did stay there that night and then came to me the next day and said, I want to be with you. And I pretty much told him he blew it. And I gave him a list of things that he'd have to do to even have a chance. And I think he realized that he couldn't measure up to those things. And so I had him drop me off at the airport, and he went back, and I called her. I said, he'll be back. Told him to take a couple days and think about things. He said he would, and I knew he wouldn't. So I told her, I said, he'll be home tonight. And that's where he went. So,
Have you seen him since then?
no,
You've talked to him since then?
all the time.
And now you said you also talked to Jean.
Yep,
And she,
her and I are friends.
okay.
When my car broke down, she sent me a check in the mail. We both are mature enough to realize that it wasn't, definitely none of it was her doing. But she knows Jim well enough to know that it wasn't all me stopping him and, forcing him to do things. So,
Especially when you sat down, the three of you, and you had no place to hide. probably,
Yeah,
you know.
he had to answer questions. And his thing was that he loves us both.
One of the questions I had when I was looking at my notes later on, somewhere in there, I couldn't tell when it was exactly, you said you lost 25 pounds. Was that after the first of the year, or was that after April?
That was after the first of the year.
So after you left the first time?
Yeah, I packed a lot of it back on.
I just saw that in my notes, I want to make sure I had that the right time.
Yeah, I was working a ton from that January busy month and stressed out to the max because he did everything for me while I was at work. He was there for the kids. He'd take them to basketball practice. And I didn't have anyone to do that. Not to mention the fact of him being gone and lying. So,
Okay.
come on.
One of the things I do want to go back to, I forgot to ask you about, we talked about a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously you said Jean had one, a big one. But you
She said she had a big
She
one.
said she had a big one. You never actually saw
No.
one. But you said that Jim had a gun.
Yes.
And did you actually see that gun?
I didn't see the gun. I mean, he brought it with him in February when he came up.
Okay.
And I don't know, it kind of worried me. And I know I had given him an ultimatum, and I think Gene was expecting him back, and he was a little stressed out about his world he'd created, you know, with 2 women, expectations. But I was worried, and I hid it in my drawer, so that's the only reason all I can remember is it was in like a silky pouch or something, so.
Do you remember what color it was?
The pouch, dark, but
We talked about this before, and I didn't know at the time, but apparently, I asked if it was a Crown Royal bag. Right? It's typical of that.
yeah.
Alcohol holder type.
And I don't recall that it was a Crown Royal bag, but that's not unusual for him. I told you that he saves every Crown Royal bag
Yeah.
from every bottle. So.
That's what you told me, okay. All right. So that from that point, other than having telephone calls from him, you haven't had any personal contact with him? But you have been back to the island since then?
Yeah.
When have you come back to the island, do you remember?
I got to Everett the morning of July 14th because it was my daughter's birthday. And I checked into that same hotel, but I can't remember the name. I think it's Comfort Suite or Extended Stay America or something like that.
Yeah,
One of
the
them.
one right there by
I think it's
Bed Bath.
Extended Stay
I think it's
America.
Extended Stay America now that I think about it.
I've hung U-turns in that parking lot all the time.
Right there
It's
by
right in there,
Bed
yeah.
Bath and Beyond or wherever.
Yeah,
Bath and Beyond.
one of those. Oh no, actually, you know what? That's not where I stayed. I'm sorry. I went there to check in and they didn't have any rooms. And they sent me to the other side of the freeway, to that Best Western back there.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Express, there's a Best Western Express over on the other side of the highway there.
behind that Waltz mechanic. Like if you were going the old way to Alderwood Mall.
Right,
Yeah, back there. That's where I stayed.
okay.
In fact, I had another doctor's appointment there too, so on the next day.
Okay.
So I took the girls shopping that morning and I was exhausted.
Did you drive up here that time?
I did
And what were you driving at that time?
my Mitsubishi.
Okay. So when did your Lexus break down?
Well, it was just a starter.
Oh, so it wasn't totally out of commission.
And now it still runs now. I still have it.
Okay.
I got the Mitsubishi because I was sharing my Lexus with the nanny, and she was driving me to work and going back home and carting the kids around, and I was literally putting about $40 every 3 days for gas, and when you total that up, it's equal to about a car payment. So I'm thinking, I got a little economy car, and it's much better. Yeah. So, yeah, I drove up. I left on the 13th. I got in right in time for morning rush hour traffic in Seattle on the 14th. I checked in and I told the girls I just needed a few hours sleep and to call me, I think, at noon.
And they were already approved their dad for
Yeah.
summer
Yeah.
vacation, whatever.
So I think Calvin brought him to the room for me. Maybe I picked him up. Anyway, we went to the mall shopping for They hung out.
Okay.
I went to Whidbey, I think on the 15th, Thursday. Just for a couple hours, I went to see Dean at karaoke. Then I went back across and stayed that night at my hotel with the Best Western again. And then went to Hat Island for, I picked Angelo up from the airport on Friday.
That would have been on the 18th then.
No,
Is that right? No. 15, okay.
16th, is that right? Yeah,
I think so. 16.
we went to Hat Island that night. And we didn't come back from Hat Island until Monday. And then we stayed at that hotel on the Everett Marina there.
Okay.
Port something in
Yeah,
at 200 $99 a night.
Wow.
Their one room left. Darn, we had to stay in a suite up there.
I hate when that happens.
And Chris and Steve Arnold stayed on their boat in the marina, so we all kind of just hung out. I did go back to the island on that Monday because I had whacked my neck out of place, so I went and saw Dr. Vorix.
When did you find out about Russ's death?
My mom called me.
And
It was whenever it came out in the paper.
okay. What'd she say?
She actually asked me questions because she said whether it was something about, is that Brenna's husband or any relation to Brenna, because it said he was from Renton or something, and so I don't remember the whole conversation, but that was, my mom's more inquisitive than calling in shock, you know, she's...
Wants to know the whole story.
Yeah.
The backstory.
Yeah, so she, I know she brought Brenna over a casserole and offered to help watch her kids.
I'm surprised.
But that happened?
That, yeah, about
Very
what you heard happened.
Wouldn't you be?
Well, yeah. Do you remember who else was there at the house when it happened? When you got there, tell me.
I think it was just Jim and I.
Okay.
Vicky might have been there. Yeah, she might have been at work. She
So at that time, she living with you then?
lived with me till March 1st when she lived in
I
Scott.
think now she was with Scott. Okay.
I was in the living room when I left on the couch.
Okay.
What did you do? Did you call Brenna?
I sat in disbelief for a while. And I don't remember if I was surprised she didn't call me.
That Brenna didn't call you?
Yeah, but then again, after seeing what my sister went through, I didn't call my sister because I knew if she needed anything, she'd call me. And everybody was calling her and bugging her, and she had no time, so.
Did you get any phone calls from Brenna when you were on the island, the day you were leaving the island? Was it December?
I got calls from Brenna all the time. We called back and forth like crazy, especially when I first moved.
So did you guys have like a boss-client relationship, or boss-employee relationship, or like a landlord?
We have 3 different relationships. We have a friendship. We have she wasn't my boss.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I was trying to ask. So it was like, I mean,
I was self-employed.
you self-employed, you rented space from her then?
Yes.
Is that how it worked?
And she rents my house from me, so, I mean, there's a lot to our relationship. So.
Let me just talk to her for a second.
Okay.
Let's go outside for just a second.
I'm gonna go ahead and pause the tape for just a minute.
Yeah.
You need to start ahead, we're right out of time. 20 minutes.
I have a lawyer.
I gotta find the button to turn it back on. Took me a while to find it. Turn it on. All right.
No, Jerry reminded me of, in our talking, about that day, that morning of the 26th. She called me sometime in the afternoon, maybe even. Or I called her. Anyway, in our conversation, she was pissed that he hadn't been back.
Who hadn't been back?
Russ. She thought he went out and, I don't know, either went out to see Marge, went out, whatever, but didn't call her.
Because he had left.
She said he left to do errands.
And on the same day.
Yeah, and I talked to her, I don't know, sometime after he left, within a couple hours, or I don't remember if it was after I went to Port Townsend or what, but on the phone I remember her just being pissed and saying.
But did she call
Is that
you
good again?
when you talked, or did you call her?
I think she called me.
Do you know if Russ used drugs?
I don't think Russ used drugs. I know he was training for a run.
Okay.
I don't think he used drugs.
And obviously
I know he liked to drink, but he didn't.
from our past search warrant stuff, we know that Jim has used drugs and does use drugs.
Sure.
Okay. Well, just a few more questions, and one of them is, because there's so many people involved in this thing, I'm trying to get all these people straight, so let's see here. Siobhan Wright was a fellow employee, or a fellow hairdresser.
Yes.
Am I using proper terms?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Doris Matz is your mom.
Yep.
Paul Archer,
Close friend.
close friend. And he was the one, and when was it that he helped you with the loan?
He gave me a check in July
2003.
3.
Okay, and that was to help you get started, and you're paying that back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Obviously, we know James, and Jean is his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And Kelvin, is your ex-husband.
Yes.
Your daughter, Scott Mixon's a friend.
I'm both Jim's and mine.
And have you ever met Bill Hill?
Yep.
And what do you know about Bill Hill?
Well, Bill came to Vegas and was very privy to the affair that Jim and I were having. In fact, Bill had his own little fling with Cindy Francisco. So, yeah, I know him. He spent time with me here in Vegas and in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. So would you say that Bill and Jim were
Good friends?
good friends?
Sure.
Were they closer than good friends?
What do you mean by that?
I mean, somebody would tell your best friend, maybe best friends? Somebody would tell whatever to?
I don't know that Jim had any of those kind of friends in Florida. I think his friends that were like that were the ones in the circle of friends up on Whidbey.
Okay. So Bill. Do you know a Keith Ogden?
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about Keith Ogden?
That he is Scott's cousin.
And do you know him personally other than...
Yeah, I mean, I've met him and his girlfriend. So they used to live here. I know he moved away.
And what do you know what Keith used to do for a living?
Yeah, he was a cop.
Have you been following up on what's been going on with the case lately? Like news releases or anything anybody called you?
No, someone sent me the 2 newspaper clippings, one from Everett, one from Whidbey.
With the pictures of the car and...
I didn't get the pictures,
Oh.
so just the articles. Why?
I was just curious if you were... We found the gun.
Oh,
Oh, well, good.
oh, good.
And there's some... It was actually Mr. Ogden had it. He said he got it from you guys the day that your mom called to tell you that Russ was dead.
Well, he can say what he wants. You can take my DNA, my prints, everything you want.
Like I told you before, it's... You know, we know Jim's a shooter. And now we're just trying to figure out, how long is it going to take for him to start saying what's going on.
What was your first name?
Sean.
Sean. I told you I told you when you're at my home,
Mm-hmm.
and I told you here.
So you don't know anything about a gun
No,
that Jim gave to Mr. Ogden?
no.
Okay. Do you recall if Mr. Ogden was present when your mom called you and told you about Russ's death?
I don't recall. He was present.
Because Keith told me specifically he was in your living room when your mom called from Whidbey Island.
Well, Keith and Donna have been to my house numerous times.
Okay. Is there any
Well,
discussion?
probably 3 or 4 times.
I mean, you said Jim did have a gun. Was
In
it-
February.
In February. Was there discussion before that about a gun and the inability to lock it up or store it safely in your home? Nothing like that?
I, for one, have kids. My brother-in-law left a gun in my home one time, and I freaked out when I found it. So, there was talk of a gun one time because Jim wanted to go down into the Naked City and get some, they call this place in Vegas, and find someone that could sell him some what do you call it? What do I refer to his, some self-medicating, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the talk I heard him with Pete.
So prior to February, you never saw Jim in possession of a gun like that?
No,
Or that gun?
no.
Any reason why Keith Ogden would suddenly call me out of the blue and have me fly all the way to New Mexico?
I don't know.
Or any reason why he would make up the fact that he was in your house when your mom called?
He could have been. I don't recall him being there.
Well, he specifically recalls you being there, and he specifically recalls that shortly after that phone call from your mom, Jim came out of the bedroom with that gun and said, "We can't store it safely here because of Peggy's kids, and would you please hold it for me?"
Well, you know what? If Jim did that, it is not to my knowledge.
Well, here's the deal, Peggy. The gun has been checked, and it was the one that was used to kill Russ.
Okay?
Jim bought the gun, and Jim used the gun. And you were either with him, or you know about it and you're scared to tell what happened because you
You know
either
what?
love him or you're trying to protect yourself. And
No.
while you're, just listen to me for a minute, okay? While your attorney's here, this is going to be a good chance for you to think about what you really want to say. And I know you told me the truth, and I can understand that most people say that until it's really down, but it's not going to take long for Jim to start realizing he's going to be looking at murder. And if you have any involvement, he's not going to be quiet about it.
Well, you know what? I do not have any involvement. I've told you what I know. And if he was involved, I'm extremely surprised. So,
So the gun he handed to former police officer Keith Ogden is forensically matched to the gun that killed Russ Douglas. And yet, you're still surprised that Jim would have anything to do with this?
I'm surprised he'd have it in him to do that. Yes.
I'm surprised that he gave it to a cop.
I'm surprised at the whole thing, to tell you the truth.
Well, like I talked to you before, it's a very bizarre case that travels the whole United States. And I just want you to have the opportunity, because I know that, if you have involvement in this, and now's your chance to, you have your attorney here.
You know where I was. You can check everything out. I'm not involved in this.
Okay, we talked to Mr. Marlowe, he said you guys didn't get together.
We did get together.
He said it didn't happen.
He said you called and said you were canceling out, you were in Seattle doing family stuff.
That was...
So on the 26th, you
We
never took
canceled
that car.
out. No. Yes, we did. We canceled out on when they were going to rehearse together, which was whatever night they rehearsed was a Wednesday. Jim was going to go over and rehearse with the whole band on whatever night they rehearsed. He didn't make it. That's why the trip to Port Townsend to visit him and his wife, because he didn't make the band rehearsal.
Well, they're still
So-
saying that you guys didn't show up.
Well, you know what? Check the ferry cams, check whatever on that Port Townsend ferry.
Another note I made here was Dick Deposit said his house was clean and immaculate on the 24th when he stopped by on Christmas Eve. He went over to see his stepdad, I believe, and he said he stopped by and the house was in order, the bed was made, everything was immaculate.
Well,
And it's
you know
funny what you said about him, because as soon as he left my office, I said the same thing. I said, if there was a pillow out of place, that guy would have put it back.
You're right.
And it struck me, that's why I made the note. I specifically asked him when he went to the house on the 24th, was the bed unshoveled, was the sheets unwashed, blah, 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 blah. No, everything was immaculate.
Well, you know what? The sheets were in the washer. They got dried.
So the bed would have been unmade on the 24th then. If you guys left on the 23rd and the sheets were left in the washer. But
Yeah.
Mr. Deposit, who you said would notice if a pillow was out of place,
He
tells
would.
me his house was immaculate on the 24th.
I'm letting you know my recollection of everything I did.
Mm-hmm.
And you can check my phone, whatever you need to do. I'm letting you know what I know.
Well, you've spoken to Jim since I spoke to Jim
Have I spoken to Jim?
recently, or?
I speak to Jean.
Mhm. Not Jim.
No.
Okay. Jim says on the 23rd that you never went to that apartment with him. You stayed in the hotel, and he said you were beat, you were tired. He took the present to Russ's apartment alone.
Well, he
Yeah, we
started to go alone.
And we went over it about 26 times. because you had told Detective Plumberg months before that, in May, that you went alone. No mention of Jim whatsoever.
I don't ever think I said I went alone. I said I went to bring a gift to Russ.
Okay. Well, with Jim, in my interview with Jim, we went over it several times, and he said, no, Peggy stayed in the hotel, she was tired, I parked on the street, I went up to the apartment alone, I said, hey, are you Brenna's husband? And I gave him a gift, and he left. So, I mean, all these inconsistencies are starting to pile up.
Well,
Everybody you're saying
Well,
you saw on the
didn't-
26th is out the window.
maybe if you ask Mr. Marlowe, did he cancel out on the band practice and try to refresh his memory? Because you know what? I remember his wife, I think she might have even had to work that morning or something, but she was home, which was unusual, on the 26th, because she works at the post office. We did see the Marlowes on the 26th. So,
I'm not making it
And-
up.
I don't know that I ever said I went alone. I know I didn't say I went alone. I told whoever I talked to on the phone that I went to deliver a gift to Russ.
And now Jim's saying he went alone, that you never.
Well, if he said he went alone, he's silly. He started to go alone. He came back, he didn't have the directions, I went with him.
Can I make a suggestion? I gotta use the men's room. Then could you and I meet in a room other than whatever's going on so I can talk to you? I mean,
What time is it?
yeah, it's
It's,
10 to
10.
12.
We can finish another time, but I have to pick up a client.
Okay, well, let's do this then, while they're talking with the paperwork done. See,
Oh, by the way, yes, you have things to return to?
that's all right. Well, we don't have any other discussion other than what's going on.
Sure. Where's the...
So just go to your left, all the way around my record, I see some sewing machine. Sure.
Where's my credit card?
This is all that Peggy Sue gave to you that you, as far as I knew, that's all you requested. Did you request more things than that?
I requested my credit cards, I requested my
Okay.
books for work. There's nothing in there that,
Well, I've got copies of some of the properties here. Like, this is your, all your contacts, the ones that I didn't get, apparently you got the rest of them. And some of your appointment book stuff. I'll let you look at that first. The main thing is the actual property, not the copies. Look at that. Now, if there's other items you'd like to get back, let me know, and when you get that hard drive set up, sent to you, get that sent to you. Okay? I honestly, in this case, I'm just a messenger, but I thought you wouldn't have requested, so I didn't see a copy of it from the attorney.
so the hard drive and did you happen to take cards out of that were in the back behind these and
The ones I made copies for you were, I copied the front and back. I didn't, if there's cards
in
between them, I didn't make copies of those. Okay, that's just the copy stuff. Let's get to the real stuff here that I'm gonna give back to you so you can make sure it's all here.
Okay.
Let's see here. First on the list is your FAA certificate
Okay.
and your
Nice.
operator card. Medical. It's weird, like when we saw the medical examiner's card, I was like, did they do that for your
Driver.
driver's test? Huh? Let's see, household bank letter with PIN. Let's get your PIN number on.
Okay.
What else we got? Check from the president's limousine for 101.
Yeah.
Was there a specific reason for that one? I just was curious about it.
Actually, that was a paycheck. I had only worked like a day or two, and they have to take my medical.
Oh, so by the time you get done.
Yeah.
Earnings report from president's limousine,
Okay.
from Costco card, and 7-page divorce decree.
Great.
So I just need you to sign. Copy.
My 2 credit cards. There's really no reason to hold on to those.
I have no problem with that. I don't know if you misunderstood what it was you wanted or. But I will make a note of that. Which ones were they? Were they the Baker Street ones or your personal ones, or which ones?
Baker Street.
Baker Street.
They're both, one's a Visa Business Miles and one is another business one. I don't know what it is.
And they're both, is it on Visa also?
I think so.
Okay. So you got that, I got that, copy.
And the hard drive will be on its way.
And the hard drive should be on its way. Like I said, it wasn't there when we left, otherwise we would have just brought it with us, so it's easier for everybody.
Yeah. Is there a way they can overnight it? Is that like out of the
Yeah, I
question?
don't say that's not a problem if possible. Like I said, I'll get the credit cards in there and get it to you as soon as possible.
All right.
Okay.
That's it on the signing? And-
Yeah, I just need to wait for your attorney to get back so we just have to do a closing thing on the swearing part.
Okay, I really
I know.
have to get going. I have to drop him on first.
But what's your schedule today?
I start at 1, finish about
Exchange, that's all it is.
Oh, I see. Well, all right. Let me talk to you for a minute. Yeah, I understand. I understand. Let's just talk.
He's concerned because
my
Yeah.
photo of my CD of nudes. You don't need to keep that.
No,
And you know what? I'll let you know that Detective Wallace assured me that no one would see those but him.
he does all the computer stuff in his office because we have obscured all that stuff, so.
let's real quick go back. We're back off.
Okay.
You're not the only one that's seen them.
All right. What? I'm sorry.
I just want to make sure we're back.
Yeah, all right, okay.
It's new and everybody's back in here. And basically, in closing, if there's nothing else that you want to tell us, I just want to say, is everything you told us today been true and
Yes.
correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
And are you swear that it's true?
I swear that it's true to the best of my knowledge and my recollection, yes.
Okay. And then, do you have any other questions?
No, just as to the items, do you know what you got back?
I know what I got back, but,
Okay, you gave her an itemized list
Yes.
of what you gave her back. What, and so now the hardware he's working on,
I'm
the
missing
tax
the credit
returns they
cards.
don't have,
No, yeah,
or how many credit cards?
2.
Two, what are they?
They're both business cards. One's a
Right.
Visa Miles and the other is a
Because
Visa
I'll call
Platinum or
Plumber
something.
there, so let's see whether.
Yeah, that's no problem.
Visa Miles and what else?
I think it's a Visa Platinum.
Okay.
And then there's a CD of nude photos that they
All right.
don't need to keep.
Okay.
And a CD from a very dear client of mine from one of his limo trips that they don't need to keep.
Okay,
And that was after,
okay. Did you get back the stuff in the planner?
copies.
Okay, did you get back what we talked about, 4 things? The hard drive, which they're working on, the stuff
My
in the
divorce
planner,
papers.
divorce papers, and what was the 4th? The tax returns, which they say they don't have. Okay. All right,
I don't recall any tax returns in the.
yeah, okay.
Well, it's hard to recall what was taken because a lot of things, it just says miscellaneous paperwork on the items, which is,
Yeah.
All right, I'm going back to Newport Beach when I get my driver's license. Let's wait a few days, I'll call Plumber. If you have any supplemental questions, please call me. I'll get hold of Peggy, we'll get back to you. I absolutely 100% believe in her innocence. I believe everything she said here today is true. I think that there's more work that has to be done. And if you need corroboration or if there are questions that arise, I appreciate the opportunity to answer them. I spoke to the prosecutor in this case. He sounds like a very reasonable guy. He assured me that we have an opportunity, if we needed it, to talk to him again before he did anything.
Most definitely.
Okay, and I'd appreciate that. You know, the search warrant, you banged down the door, you did what you had to do. She's come in voluntarily, and so I'd appreciate any courtesy that you can show her. She's a hard-working person.
Just, I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, I don't know if these guys made you aware, but just the way the search warrant happened here was all their
Metro,
policy. So,
My experience with Metro, I
Yeah.
can understand what
Okay.
happened, and I apologize on
Yeah.
behalf of.
Well, and I told you
Okay.
that day. I mean, it wasn't our intent to bang down your door or.
Now, look, this is a very serious matter,
mhm.
and we've taken it seriously, and we will continue to do so. And any help that Peggy can give, she absolutely will. That's all I can say. Do you have a time that the actual shooting took place during that day? I mean, an hour or two?
Off the top of my head, I don't,
I'd have to look at
I'd
that.
have to go look it up. I don't want to give you.
Was it the time when?
It was within the time that they were on the island, yes.
Yeah, I understand, but was it within the time that she said they were at, what's his name?
Dick's house.
Townsend.
Yeah,
No, not Port Townsend.
no, at Dick's house.
Mr. Deposit.
Yeah.
Yes,
In the morning.
yes, it was.
So you wanna check out with the neighbor to see that they were there? And
I would love it if you would ask Mr. Marlowe if Jim canceled on the rehearsal,
Yeah,
because that's probably what he's remembering, because it was a night that,
Okay, well, like I told you before, we're trying to find out.
okay, absolutely.
We're not
You wanna
trying to
elaborate a little more on, you say the visit to the Marlows never took place, is that?
That's what we were told.
see,
Then
we
you
were
tell them
supposed,
what you remember
well,
about
we
the
were
visit.
supposed to go on a night so they could rehearse. And Jim had gone and rehearsed with them before, over the summer, and he was too tired and we didn't go. I think it was on the Wednesday, maybe it was Tuesday, no. In fact, you know what, when he went for rehearsal over Thanksgiving, I told him it'd be great if he could rehearse again at Christmas time when we were up. So they actually moved their rehearsal from Wednesday to Tuesday, so Jim could go. And then Jim he was tired, didn't feel like going. I was tired, I didn't want to go. So, and then when he called Marlo said it's okay because I think their drummer was sick. So that's when we canceled and didn't go. We went and visited.
Okay, well, like I
on the
said,
26th.
they apparently had no,
We
full
popped in, they were the only ones there at their house. It was him and his wife. And I think maybe one of their kids popped in at home for their late teenagers.
like I said,
So
we're not unreasonable either. We want to get to the bottom and we want to find the facts, and that's why we're here.
that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Call me if you need me.
Okay, and that'll conclude the interview at 12:05 on August 31st.
Jerry, you're gonna have to forgive me driving.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
Peggy Sue leaves for work. The next day, she returns for another police interrogation.
I heard my message thing going off like at 1 a.m. She called me back. She said she'd had a message from Sunberg, and she just said she didn't have it in her to call it that time of the morning, and she'd do it in the morning.
Okay.
And I said, oh, I'm at a meeting at 8, so I assume you'll call before 8 my time.
Yeah, because they're 3 hours ahead over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't understand a lot of what she said because she was in tears, but
Didn't she say that Jim had left?
Jim had taken off. Well, it was either while she was in the shower or just when she was getting out, and she had driven around trying to find him. And
Okay. Before we get going again, I have to do all that whole pre-tape thing, so I appreciate that. Okay, I'm Detective Warwick. It's September 1st, 2004, approximately 8:05 hours, and I'm present with, in the Henderson Police Department, with Commander Mike Beach and Peggy Sue Thomas and her attorney.
Gerald Worksman.
Thank you, Mr. Workman. And you all know that this interview is being recorded. Everybody agreeing to that?
Yes. Right.
Okay. Go ahead, Peggy.
Actually, yesterday when I got home from work, I called Gene's Hewden's cell phone number. It's the only number I've been able to get a hold of anybody at for a while. And I just said, do you know what the hell's going on here? Because I was thrown for a loop today in my interview. And I said, they showed me a picture of a gun. They've impounded my car. Do you know anything about it? And she said, I'm going to let you talk to Jim, which was a first because before I'd never talked to him.
I was gonna ask you about that. Yesterday, you kept mentioning you had been talking to Gene, but you didn't mention you've been talking to Jim.
I hadn't talked to Jim.
What's going on with that?
Well, I'm not sure, but I don't think he's been home since Detective Plumberg was down there. It's my impression that he left and is staying somewhere. So, but she was with him yesterday, so I got to talk to him. And he got on the phone and asked how I was doing. I said, how do you think I'm doing? My car's been taken. What's going on? And he said, I'm sorry. I love you. I never meant for you to be involved in this, but I did it. I said, there's no way. There's no way.
What?
He said, I did it. I did it when I went for cigarettes. I said, it can't be. And he said, you know what? Just know that I love you. You're never going to see me or hear from me again. And that was it. He hung up. So I called Jerry, hysterical, and he told me we needed to call you guys.
Well,
Oh, no.
go ahead, what else?
And he asked me for Jean's cell phone number, and I said, why don't you let me call her, because she'll probably answer, and I'll ask her to call you. And so I called her and I said, I need you to talk to my attorney. And so she called him.
Okay, I'd like to give my statement now.
Well, go ahead.
You know, because this is the first time she ever called me with tears. And she related to me that she had called down there and that this conversation had taken place as she's just related it. And I was naturally most interested in, you know, not only did he say he did it, when did he do it? When she told me we went out with the cigarettes, I said, did Jean, what's her name, Jean? Yeah, I said, did Jean hear it? She said, I assume so. I said, well, that's very important, so let me have her number. She said, well, maybe, you know, she should call you. She called me, I thanked her for calling, and we had this conversation in which she said that Peggy had called and that she put Jim on the phone. She heard him say he did it. She heard him say he did it, you know, when he was going out for cigarettes. And I said to her, I don't think he did it. She said, he keeps saying he did it. And then I talked to her, I said, you know, it's very important, you know, and I was concerned that he might commit suicide. You know, I said, where is he? She said, no, he's not here. I said, well, maybe you ought to call the police and you ought to call Plumberg and, you know. And then I told her it was very decent of her, knowing the strain she had been under, you know, to talk to me. And I, more than anything else, I was interested in my client's status. And I said, you know, she didn't know anything about it. And she said, you know, I believe that. And she said, I can't understand it, you know, what happened. So there you are. Then I think I called you, Beach, Plumberg, everyone else. So that's that. And then I had Peggy come over and write down a statement, which she'll sign now, and she can give you, which is her best memory, closest to what had happened. Okay?
Okay.
This is your best memory, right? Okay.
How many pages do you have there?
No, it's just one page.
Just one page. Would you be willing to put that back on one of our statement forms, just so we can have it on a sworn form and everything?
Yeah, sorry. Well, why don't you just Xerox this, you know? All right.
You got one, Sean?
I got one too. Here you go. That way it's got all the information on it.
What time was this phone call, Peggy? Do you remember?
In fact, I wrote between 4:30 and 5 because I know I left work about 4:45, 10 to 4, and it takes me about a half hour to get home. I just went out by the pool and sat there and thought. So I just made a call.
It's got to be about 15 or 20 minutes before I call Plumber and let the message and What's his name?
Detective Williams.
Williams here, and Williams called up.
Yeah, okay. Oh, while she's doing that, let me go over 3 things that I mentioned to you yesterday. That I don't know how important they are. Number 1, Peggy says that when they went to visit the Marlows, they got gas.
Oh, no.
They got
That's
gas
actually
in
the birthday.
Fort Townsend.
Well, that would be a 9 too.
So there'll be a credit
So
card
let's keep that in
receipt for
mind.
that. Peggy, whose credit card did you use for the gas when you went to?
You know, I think it was a credit card, but, I don't know if it was mine or his, but I know he was using a Citibank card, I
Oh, all right.
think.
And
And
so,
then mine, I don't know what.
do you remember what time of the day or where and,
It would have had to be, we were on that 12:45 boat. I'm thinking between 3 and 3:30,
okay.
So that was some gas station in Port Townsend, you think?
yeah.
So that would be important to show that they were in Fort Townsend.
And you know what, I know if you talk to the Marlows and refresh that we canceled for the rehearsal,
We're gonna do that today.
I'm hoping they remember popping in, because that was it was an unexpected visit that Friday, but it was because, and I remember the conversation on canceling, he said, you know what, it's no biggie because Tim, the drummer, was sick and they weren't all gonna be there anyway, so.
Number 2,
Home address.
I'm sure Brenna has already told you, although I have no way of knowing except that Peggy tells me that the gift, she gave the gift to Russ whenever it was the 23rd. The kids might remember forgetting the gift.
Or it being there before Christmas. It was a basket about this big and it had cellophane wrapped up on it and tied, so.
Well, yeah, we all know that Russ got the gift on the 23rd.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, it's just the discrepancy is whether, in the discrepancy that I pointed out was that Jim is adamant that you never went to Russ's apartment with him.
Well, Jim's
And you're
adamant that
you guys
we
went
left.
together.
He says we left the hotel and went straight to Vegas
Yeah.
All right,
when we had dinner with people and so.
all right. Now, here's something you might corroborate what Peggy says. They were staying at the Marriott. They were using the Marriott parking facilities. Now, Marriott would have a record of the ins and outs.
You have to take a ticket every time you go into the parking lot there, and you have to stop at the attendant, and they do the computer thing
Do they do that through your room number, or is it just as the?
through your room number.
Now.
And everything was on my credit card
And you said it was
at
in
the
your
Marriott, yeah.
We're already in the process of
Okay.
covering those records.
So there's gotta be a thing where there's gotta be a deal where he left that night and came back within like 10 minutes, and then we left again together, so.
Okay.
Although I don't see the significance of it. It just corroborates that she's telling the truth, that's all.
Work address.
Yeah. No, it's industrial.
I made 3 bets on baseball games. It's the 5th, the 6th inning. I'm over 7.5 runs in the Chicago game when all this starts.
Can I just write industrial road?
There have been
Yeah,
5
yeah,
runs
that's
scored, so I need
Because
3
it's-
runs, and now it's getting the 8th inning, and it's still at 5. And I'm trying to watch the game, and I'm getting all these calls.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that game went over, so I won that. Then I had under in another game. There was under 9. There were 5 runs by the 6th inning. No, by the 4th inning. So I thought I was going to lose that one. Then who they put in? Smaltz, great reliever for used to work for Atlanta. Now is he still in Atlanta?
I don't know baseball much, but I know the name.
Yeah. He let him get another couple of runs, but I won that one. But the big one I lost, so I broke even. The facilities at the Excalibur good?
Well, it's a little older, I think, like older casino, but,
Yeah.
and
8:15 now.
the department's put us up, so. Called the travel agency, travel agency, got a package deal with the flight, the room, and the car, so what can you ask for?
Right, yeah, you're on business. It's better than going to Newark.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely better than Newark.
If you would, I know, it looks like in this one you just write it chronologically like you did before. When you're good at that, we talked, that's how we
Yeah,
talked.
this was,
This looks like how you did it there,
yeah.
so that's fine, I just wanna. It's always nice when you have somebody's handwriting you can read.
I guess I was never meant to be a doctor.
Yeah, I guess the hotel we stayed at in Punta Gorda is pretty much demolished from the hurricane.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Which one did you stay at?
The Best Western right there on the
Oh, on the
waterfront.
waterfront, that was their only.
Plumber's, it's all in the news, and the whole area where you pull in to check in, it was all crumbled, and it wasn't a bad hotel.
So what's the status on the car? When do they get done examining it? How long do these things usually take? If you need
We took some samples out yesterday,
Okay,
so, we're gonna we'll have some determination by the end of today, hopefully, we'll know one way, before we leave town, we'll be able to let you know one way or the other, hopefully get the car back.
oh, I see. You mean, okay, fine. Well, give me a call.
Certainly.
Get your driver's license back yet?
Yeah. And I even got a flight out of here later than I wanted to,
You're lucky it's not later to you. You just ran out of time.
You think Jean's gonna call plumber this morning?
I wouldn't be surprised if she already did.
Hopefully she has.
I can understand a lot. She was just in tears at 1 a.m. when I talked to her, which is 4 a.m. her time,
Yeah.
so. What do you call that yesterday, an interrogation? It sounds so rough.
Interview?
It's far from an interrogation. Think you're gonna need page 2?
Probably because
Be
I'm
ready, just in case.
this way.
She has nice writing, I'm like mine, it's chicken scratching this small.
These ones aren't tears, this is mascara burning my eyes this time.
So it's always better to write more if you think of it, things that come to you as you're writing it out. It's kind of like the condensed version you
It
got to
was.
go in there.
Oh, by the way, I lost the affidavit in the search warrant for the car.
The one I had yesterday,
Yeah,
too?
geez, I hope that
I told them if it's all over Vegas, I guess I won't owe you any more attorney's fees.
I don't know how it got out of my hands. I had it with everything else, but I never did make it back to the hotel. I went to Caesars, I stayed there all day. So if you could get me another copy, I'd appreciate it if you could see if you
Get one
could.
up here.
Yeah, because they would have to file it locally. So
Yeah, it's
you would
gonna
have
be
a
fine.
copy, yeah. I'm glad that, what's his name gave me his card. I wondered why at the time, when he sees the car, I knew why. But I'm glad I had it when she called me.
Yeah, it turned out.
Because Plumber is never in with the number he gave me. I think it's in his car, and of course it was after 5. Okay, very good.
I noticed on the warrant, it said my card not been used since like March, but it's been loaned to people, my man's driven it, I mean, it's been well used the whole time.
Once we were in the interview, we found,
Yeah.
I was in the assumption when we talked the first time that the car was broke down and we had been sitting because it was dusty and there was parts in the car and.
Yeah, it had only sat, from the time my nanny left to go home.
Right after the interview,
Yeah.
You know, the first couple of times I called for Plumber, they would answer LA County. I thought it was LA County.
Oh,
And LA County. I said, I know LA County is 360. I'm thinking I misdialed. Then she told me it's Island County. Commander, that's right below Chief.
Hmm.
Very good. How long have you been there?
With the department?
Yeah.
12 years.
Before that?
Marine Corps.
Okay.
The ground Navy.
Okay.
There we go. Hard enough. Whidbey Island. In a department full of retired Navy people.
My dad retired at Whidbey.
The Navy base ever closed up there, we're so.
Oh,
The
yeah?
whole island's just gonna.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna assume and start running the airport out of there.
Well, you don't hear that, do you, that they might close it?
No, every time they come up with base closure lists and stuff.
Is it on it?
It was a couple of years ago, I don't think it's been on it since.
They've done a rotation for equipment up there, so I think they're gonna be open.
I think some of the planes that they're flying, they thought were gonna be obsolete, but once we went back to war again, they're realizing that they're pretty much irreplaceable, because they're electronic jamming planes and stuff like that, so.
Uh-huh. So it's naval air. And what do they have, a magistrate up there where the people get in trouble on federal property, federal court handle?
Actually, the base has their own police force and Naval Criminal Investigative Service, and their magistrate is in Bremerton at the sub base. I guess that's their closest, isn't that where their magistrate is? They gotta take people all the way to Bremerton.
It's either Bremerton or Seattle, they got 2 federal judges.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
It's getting more and more where we handle a lot of the Navy stuff, especially in the housing areas and stuff like that.
And do you get more local crime that the FBI doesn't touch, things that might otherwise?
You know, we really don't deal with the FBI much, but yeah, I'm just working different other cases, just trying to get one on the phone is difficult enough sometimes, you know, if it's not involving terrorism,
Yeah.
forget it,
Yeah.
so.
You have a DEA up there too, I assume?
Seattle office,
Yeah. Is that word for word this, pretty much?
Yeah, you might want to copy it. I mean, I just wrote this out, but I thought was.
Yeah, okay. Or do you have any other questions?
Yeah, we'll
Okay, sure.
finish them.
Okay.
So was he armed then? What'd you last do? Did he rearm himself?
I think so.
No, I just wanna make sure you read that, the warning part about the perjury and all that kind of thing, right?
Oh, well, I assume anything you said in here is.
Well, I wanna make sure you didn't sign something that you're not,
No.
okay.
Now, if it turns out you didn't call me yesterday, and I made all this up, you're both in trouble.
Yeah.
When you were having too much fun at Caesar's.
Yeah, right.
I see the second.
Okay, now I would like to talk back again about the 26th, because obviously, you know, if Jim shot Russ, which he did, and we all know that, there had to be some, 15 minutes is not enough time for him to go to the store, get the smokes, and set up this arrangement. There's gotta be more to this. We're missing a piece here, Peg. It's just, it doesn't fit, because there's, like you said, it takes 6 to 8 minutes to go.
Jerry,
No, it's-
I understand what you're
Right.
getting, and Jerry and I talked about that yesterday. He said, Peggy, I said, Jerry, I just don't, it's not like I looked at a clock, I just don't remember it being an odd amount of time that he was gone. I can't say for sure it was 15 minutes, can't say for sure it wasn't half an hour. I just didn't think it was an odd amount of time. I don't see how any phone calls could have been made between him and Russ that morning or day.
Well, that's what I'm trying to see. How does he arrange this meeting with Russ? I mean, it's 15 minutes or even half an hour is a short period of time to go up to somebody that you don't know.
The only thing I can think of is it was arranged before. I don't know.
Okay.
And I'm wondering, I mean, he says he tells you guys we left from the Marriott and went straight to Vegas.
Well, yeah. I mean, what else is he gonna say? He killed somebody.
I know, but why?
Well, when did he tell you that?
You guys told me that
That's
yesterday.
That's in the statement.
So I'm wondering, I mean, I have no problem with saying we went to Whidbey Island. We did that made the whole round trip.
And we
so-
did already talk to the neighbors that saw you guys there.
Oh,
We already
that's
confirmed.
refreshing. So, I don't get,
Did Russ ever come to the house, to Dick Deposit's house where you guys were staying?
no.
Did he know you guys were staying there at that house?
Brenna had been to that house, she came by. I don't know when though, I think when Brenna came, it was at Thanksgiving time,
Okay. But as far as she hadn't visited you,
not with him.
not with Russ. And so
No.
Russ had no reason to go to the house, at Dick Deposit's house?
No.
Did he know about when you lived up at the Francisco's place?
Yes. Actually, I don't know if he knew I stayed there for those few weeks, but when Cindy was packing up all her stuff, she gave away all her plants. And Russ and my ex-husband Calvin came out with a big truck and hauled off all the plants. So Russ had been out to the Francisco's once.
And that's the place on Wall Road?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, if they have more property on them.
I think he's got tons, but
Right,
that's the
so
only
that's when we're
resident.
talking about the residents.
And so there was huge plants, so it needed guidance, those big huge tree things and stuff, and Brenna's got them in her house. And in the salon, has them in the salon, so.
Okay.
But, so that's the only time I know that he had been out there.
So he had been out there before?
Yeah, with Kelvin. I was out there the day they got him. I don't know if Brenna came or not. I think she might have too. I mean, I don't know. I know Kelvin and Russ for sure.
And yesterday you told me that Jim and Russ had never met before,
Before the 23rd,
which is when you guys went to,
bring the gift.
okay.
And I would have known because I introduced him. I mean, I'm like, this is my boyfriend Jim. If Russ had met him, he would have, I wouldn't have needed the introduction.
So there was no recognition between the two?
No.
You're sure?
I'm sure. I mean,
So this one,
I was not surprised or didn't see a,
like, oh yeah, I know. So-and-so.
yeah, no.
So somewhere between the 23rd and the 6th, you never were aware that they had any other contact?
But he knew Brenna before the 23rd.
He knew Brenna for the whole time I was dating him.
Then through Brenna, he knew about Russ.
Yeah. Or actually, it might even be through me. I don't know so much about through Brenna.
Okay.
The first thing that struck me last night was, and again this morning, is nowhere in here do you go, why? Why did you kill him? Why did you do this?
And
That-
Jerry asked me
I
things.
mean, that's a pretty normal human response, I would think.
If you would have seen my demeanor yesterday, I couldn't even hardly function. And
Before this phone call or after the phone call?
no, when I got the phone call,
You mean when you made the,
or yeah, when I got to talk to him, I called up very frank and ended up with the phone being hung up on me and I'm left in hysterics and Jerry,
it's the first time I ever heard her cry or be, lose her composure. As a matter of fact, on the way back here, from here, when I was talking about one thing, she was talking about getting items back from the search warrant. I mean, she was, it was a change in demeanor.
and when I wrote that last night, here I am sitting in an open amount of people and I broke down again. So to come up with questions,
Well, what do you think? What do you think why he might have done it?
I
why
asked,
anyone
I'm
would do
sorry,
that.
excuse me.
Go ahead.
Well, you were the ones that told us yesterday, I think, because I lost the damn affidavit. I asked you, who brought up the abuse? Didn't you bring up,
I think you must have spoke about it when you left together, because when you came out the door, you
In
asked.
the original affidavit, it should be in that original affidavit from the house
Yeah.
search warrant, that from the informant in Florida, Bill, we all know that it was Bill Hill now,
yeah,
was that Jim grew up in an abusive household. Is that
No,
true?
but Jerry came out yesterday after we were done here, and he said something about Russ being abusive.
yeah. Didn't you tell me that? I couldn't look that up.
That should be in the affidavit. Bill told us that Jim said that Russ had been abusing Brenna.
Okay. Now, we started speculating, and this whole thing is speculation. But I came away from what either I wrote or what you said, as now you've switched. At first, I was told that the motivation for this was insurance. I don't know where I heard that, but now I'm saying to myself, now, because motivation seems to, is an obvious question. Maybe in his own sick way, Jim was avenging the abuse that he may have heard from Brenna that she was getting or her kids were getting from Jim.
Well, and I can,
Not Jim, Russ. You understand Jim?
right.
Okay. And from what I've heard about Uden, he's wacky enough to somehow, in his own mind, thought he was an avenging source or something. And as far-fetched as that may seem.
Well, everything in the past 2 years has been far-fetched.
Well, regardless of his motive, would he and Brenna, would Jim and Brenna have had a chance to have discussion?
I don't think so.
He and Brenna's driving a new SUV.
No.
Has she paid you rent over the last year?
Yes.
She has, every month?
Yes. I've had to once or twice remind her to get it in there on time.
Okay.
I've given her.
She was renting a house for a year. You're past that year date now, and now she's purchasing a house from you?
No, in fact, that was another thing I told Jerry.
It's against
Russ,
it's against her financial interest for Russ not to be around, because when Russ was alive, there was the hope that Brenna,
they
would
could
buy a
qualify
house.
for the house. So now what I'm doing is refinancing the house. And then once the refinances goes through, we'll draw up paperwork that I have to float the loan because she can't qualify.
Mm-hmm.
So, with Russ gone, and I was very sympathetic. I let her pay late in January, and she split it up a couple times. She split up her last month's rent, went over a couple month period. So, but she has paid every month.
Okay. So she's up to date,
Yes,
and she's still renting. She's not purchasing the house.
not yet. No.
Okay. So, and as far as you know, she and Jim never had any kind of conversation.
In fact, when she was here, I think it was just after my birthday or something, or middle of September, she came down to visit for a couple of days, and her and I just hung in the pool, and we went out with Scott Mickelson one night, and Jim kind of got a pissy attitude because I like to go down to the strip. He doesn't like all the people, and so he actually stayed home, and Brenna and I went out together. So, and I think she only stayed like 2 nights.
Okay. And when that one was at?
Sometime in September.
Oh, just
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back to the 26th, because it's very important that we get the time thing and what was actually happening there. Okay, so you guys, let's start over again in the morning on the 26th.
I don't know what time we checked out. The
Okay.
parking thing will say what time we checked out. I think we were on like the 9 o'clock boat. I'm 95% sure.
Okay, before we can get to that point, when you're loading up the car to check out, do you have, how many bags do you guys normally have?
He had his bag from when he drove up, his luggage. I think I have one suitcase and one, little, what would be like an overnight bag if you're gonna go somewhere.
Okay.
Um,
At that point, when you're after everything's out of the car and out of the trunk and everything like that, and then you guys are putting stuff back in the car, did you see a gun?
no,
Did you see anything that was make you think there was a gun in the car?
no.
Okay. All right. So you check out.
Drive to the ferry, catch the ferry, go to Dick's. Do the sheets. I'm telling you, the sheets were in the wash. We dried the sheets. I thought about that too, with Dick saying the bed was made on the 24th, but the sheets are somehow in the wash. I don't know. I don't have an explanation for that one. And Dick would know. He's meticulous, so I don't think there was a time Jim could have gone back, or I don't know. I don't think there was a time.
If you guys caught the 9 o'clock boat, or approximately, that would put you at
Dick's probably like
Deposit's house at.
20 till, probably at 10. You'd get off the boat at 20 after.
And then the drive.
Yeah. I'm not positive, but I think we were on the 9 o'clock. He went to get cigarettes sometime.
Okay, did he have cigarettes?
I was telling Jerry that yesterday. We both had cartons. We bought cartons down here because they're so cheap to bring up. But I didn't think anything unusual that he wouldn't have any left because he drove up. You smoke more when you drive up. So he had them up until that point. But he smokes a lot. So.
Okay.
And we were there for 10 days, so it wouldn't be unusual that a carton be gone. Called the ferries. I know that's why we stayed there longer, because just no one would wait.
How long do you think you were there total?
Hour and a half to hour and 40 minutes.
Okay, and that would have been approximately 20 to 10 minutes when you guys arrived?
Yeah.
Quarter to 10, whatever.
And left around by 20 after 11.
Okay.
Because I know thinking 20 minutes to get up to Keystone to grab the ferry. I know we were in line for the noon, because that's the one we were shooting for. And I know we paid before 12, because I remember hoping we'd get on, be that last car.
Okay.
But we got left sitting in line.
Before we get back to getting to the ferry, we need to cover that other spot there. I need to know everything, exactly what happened.
That's it. That when he left to get cigarettes, I just sat. I think that might have been around the time I called Siobhan. He didn't come back with strange. I didn't think anything strange. I told Jerry, he said you would have had to see blood or something from what he had told me why they took my car. I said he's built kind of like a woman. He carries a lot of his weight in his hips, so he doesn't wear just normal jeans. He always gets those painter pants that are baggier, and they're always light colored. I don't think he owns any dark colored ones.
Okay.
So I would have noticed.
Well, do you remember what he was wearing that day?
I think he was wearing tan colored painter pants and this brown micro fleece pullover that I bought him because he had no winter clothes. So I would have noticed, at least on his pants. The brown was pretty dark on the shirt, but he didn't come back all wigged out or strange.
And now, knowing what you know now, was there anything about him that seemed...
Knowing him, there's times in our whole relationship where sometimes he might sit there and not talk or whatever. seemed normal going up to the ferry. We actually got out and walked up and got something to drink at that little, I just remembered that little restaurant thingy that's there by Keystone.
Okay. When he comes back to the house, what does he do?
I don't know. I don't remember. We smoked out on the deck. I spent most of my time out on the deck till we were leaving. I don't know if he came in the door and came straight out there. I don't know if he did anything in the house.
Would you have noticed if he had changed clothes?
I think so. The luggage was, we didn't take the luggage out of the car.
Taking a shower?
He didn't take a shower.
You said he took out the garbage while you were there.
Yeah. I don't think he took it out. I mean, put it, Dick has a garbage in the garage.
Was that prior to him going to get smokes or after?
I'm not sure. I just know that was one of the things that was done.
Okay. Any other activities?
No. Not that I can remember. Just,
Is there any chance that his winter clothes are still at your house, or did he leave? When he left, did he take everything? I'm thinking if he, I mean, in your mind, he was telling you he was coming back
I
When
have
he
one
left.
suitcase of clothes of his.
with the tan pants and the brown micro fleece being there.
I don't know, but you're welcome to have it.
Okay.
He took almost all the clothes that he likes to wear and he left his stuff he doesn't like to wear. And when I packed up all his stuff, I just wanted it out, out of my space. And he'd also shipped a box of like band type clothes back here when he said he was coming back, and I took all those band clothes and all the clothes he had left and shoved them in this suitcase. They're in my garage. I'd be happy to
Okay.
give them to you.
Let's talk about the gun one more time. Okay. We have information that you knew about the gun,
I did not know about the gun.
and you saw the gun exchange hands from Jim to the other person who gave us the gun.
I did not. I did not see a gun.
Keith and his wife both say that you guys often had conversations about guns and about shooting, and that you wanted to learn to shoot, but never had a chance to do it with Keith.
I know Jim went in shooting with Keith before.
Mhm.
And I know Jim had asked about a gun when we first got here so he could go down to the Naked City.
Why did none of that ever come up in the other interviews?
You had asked if I'd seen a gun. It was for drugs,
Mm-hmm.
So,
That would have been an important detail, though, don't you think? If,
Well, had you seen it? Had you seen it ever?
I hadn't seen a gun.
Did
Yeah. No, yeah, ever, or,
In February, you brought one.
okay. Is that the gun in the picture, do you know?
I didn't see the gun in February.
Oh,
It was in a pouch.
yeah, I'm not trying to be so adversarial here, but
It's not adversarial, it's.
Mr. and Mrs.
Words,
Yeah.
words mean a lot.
Mhm.
If you, there's a difference between seeing a gun, seeing a bag in which someone says there's a gun, talking about taking a gun. I mean,
Well,
you
I
have to be
know in the
precise.
bag, in the little pouch, it was a gun because I had hit it, picked it up and felt it and hid it from it. Then I told him I hid it from him.
When did you?
That was in February when he came up. He was here for a week. He took it back with him.
It had been in the house?
No,
He
he
brought it
with
up,
him.
okay. And when did this thing happen with what's his name, the guy from New Mexico says he,
Donna was rarely around. Jim and Keith spent time together. They went to lunch, and call and meet up, because neither one of them worked. Donna and I both worked. And I don't ever recall there being a conversation of anything to do with shooting or guns while Donna was around. That wasn't even part of conversations when I was there. And now granted, Jim had gone to their house without me
Mhm.
numerous times. And that could have been conversations with them.
Well, what about conversations with Keith? Keith also says that.
Keith showed us a lot of his guns at his house.
Mhm.
And, yeah, I think I did mention I wouldn't mind learning how, but for no ill will reasons.
Did you ask a lot of questions about suppressors and how to suppress noise?
Did I ask? No, not at all.
But she said that too.
Well,
That you and Jim both had a lot of interest in guns, a lot of interest in suppressors, and that when he showed you guys the guns, did Jim try to buy one? Or asked him if Keith was selling any of them?
I don't know, he might have asked Keith if he was selling or getting. That was when we first moved here though. So, he asked Scott all the time where he could go get drugs.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming his question, Jim walked to the beat of his own drum. There was no telling him how to live, what decisions to make. If he had it in his head that he was going to go down to the Naked City and get drugs, there's no talking sense into him.
The only problem I have with this whole thing is the 15 minutes or even half an hour that Jim's gone. You know, you told us yourself how calling Russell back and forth, how hard it was to get a hold of him and get him. I mean, how does he arrange for Russ to meet him somewhere without you knowing it and get there, kill Russ, come back, be calm enough to just, it doesn't fit. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense to pick that place.
You would have to talk to him.
And that's the part that I want to hear from you because it's going to make a difference.
You know, I don't know. I'm coming in here volunteering to you, telling you what he tells me yesterday.
And I appreciate that.
I don't know
But there's
why or how.
There's some piece of it though. That see how it doesn't make sense though.
I understand that none of it makes sense.
I mean,
It's not her fault.
Well, there's a reason that Jim killed Russ. Whether it's for the money, whether it's for this revenge thing, whatever. But the time frame doesn't make sense. To get two people together in a place that one of them is unfamiliar with, apparently.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I believe when you talk to Gene, or maybe you'll get to talk to Jim, I don't know. It doesn't sound like he'll talk to anybody in person, that's for sure, from her conversation.
Is it possible that there was a conversation between Jim and Brenna? And they left you out of the loop?
I don't think so. I don't know what's possible.
You said that Brenna called you on the 26th.
Mm-mm. We spoke on the 25th.
And she was mad at Russ.
Oh, the 26th. You're right, I'm sorry. Yes, in the afternoon. She was mad at us.
What exactly did she say?
The conversation was just about he went out, hasn't come back, hasn't called, kind of like up to his old shit again. And they had been working on things. She started telling me in the fall, and that she was embarrassed to talk about it with people on the island because she'd already talked about their downfalls. Hard to tell when you're taking somebody back. I know she started having sex with them again, which was huge for her. So I don't think anything along those lines.
So when she called you, do you remember how the conversation went, other than just...
That was the gist of it, and I just said, you know what? Give him a break.
And about what time was that, do you think?
It was sometime during the drive down the peninsula, after we left Port Townsend, but before we got to Longview, so in there. And it was, our reception was choppy. I remember we cut out.
Jim's sitting next to you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you mention to Jim that Brenna was on the phone and
Oh, he heard the conversation.
any reaction from him?
None
Obviously at
that
this point he knows where Russ is.
none that I keyed in on. Jim, I mentioned to Jerry that Jerry said he still doubted that he did it, and I said I heard the tone of his voice on the phone, which was why it hit my heart so hard last night. And I just got to the point in this last year between actually when he left and came back and when I went down there where I could decipher his emotions and know when he was being sincere with me.
And so, with what he told you yesterday, what do you think?
I believe him.
You believe that? What?
That he killed us.
Up until then, I gotta tell you, we have not taken this lightly, but in our private conversations, as a matter of fact, when we left here yesterday, I said, I'm not so sure you were telling us the truth, that the gun matched up with the weapon that was used. Because it's been so hard for her to think that he would do such a thing. Well, obviously, and I said, even then, I said, this guy's wacky enough to, and she said, no, something in his voice that for the first time, did it.
Jean indicate to you, like, that she may have known about it since the way she put him on the phone?
No, it was more or less, I think she just found out yesterday too.
Because I said to her, I said, I don't think he did it. And she said, I think he did it. She said, he keeps saying he did it. I remember that part of the conversation.
So, again, if you think he did it, we're just trying to, we gotta figure out that time period. I know.
I don't know.
There's gotta be something that we're missing here. There's a piece in here that we're missing. I don't know what it is. It just doesn't quite fit yet.
It'd be interesting to know if Plumberg talked to Jean today. If anybody talked to Jim, although she doesn't seem to know where he is now.
So Russ never came to the deposit house
No.
while you were there?
Well, I worked.
Okay.
Jim was free all day long while I worked every day.
Do you think Jim might have tried to set Russ up to rob him?
To rob him? Rob him for what?
Well, what it comes down again is why you're talking motives. I mean, we
We
can
discussed,
go anywhere with that. So I'm just trying to figure out
Jim,
what happened.
For one, could give a crap about material things. Money, I didn't know his financial situation. I was under the impression that him and Jean kind of butted heads at work running it. She told him she'd run it, he could do his music and still draw a paycheck. So I assumed that when he used his credit card and got online to pay his bills, there was money in paying his bills. I think she was paying his bills. But stuff and things and tons of money were not, he wasn't into that. Didn't mean anything. He dressed like a bum, you know?
Okay.
So I don't think,
So money's probably, you're thinking money's not the reason he would kill somebody.
no.
Drugs?
I don't think Russ was into drugs.
You said yesterday that he was actually getting ready for a race.
Mhm.
So,
That's why he worked out all the time. That's why I don't think he was into drugs. Nobody that's working out is,
do you think Russ would trust Jim enough to let Jim walk up to him, shoot him in a place that's you normally don't meet? I mean, if I'm gonna meet somebody that I don't really know them that well, and I'm not gonna shoot them, I mean, why would Russ agree to meet him there?
I don't know. I don't know.
And that's the piece we need to find out, and that's why I was hoping you could help us with, because maybe there's a conversation, a slip, something you saw.
If there is, I will tell you, but I don't know.
Well, you read the affidavit
I
from
did.
the original search warrant.
Oh, from the original, yeah. I didn't get a chance to
Sorry.
read the one
It
yesterday.
contained everything that Bill Hill told us, right?
I would assume.
Mm-hmm. Now, the one thing that sticks in my craw, actually, there's like 5 things I kind of jotted down here, is that, and I think we're beating around that bush, that you are the only link really between Jim and Russ Douglas,
You're right.
period.
But you know, in
And I
the
don't think we're gonna get
affidavit,
over that hurdle.
it doesn't matter to me if you get over it. It does matter to me if you
Mhm.
get over it as far as that goes, but there's nothing I can do to convince you otherwise until you speak to Jim or whatever, because I'd love to get over that hurdle too. I read in there with Bill Hill where he says, I supposedly lured Russ to this spot with the promise of a gift, and the gift was given to Russ on the 23rd. I read in there where it was supposed to take place in, what did it say? An apartment complex or a busy area. So I wasn't too convinced Bill Hill's.
Yeah, didn't Bill Hill ask why he killed him?
Yeah, that's where the
And what
abuse
are-
thing came from. That's what I told you.
The abuse wasn't in the first affidavit.
Is that Jim told him?
Not in the first affidavit. The first
Maybe it's
affidavit,
in the second, I don't recall.
well, I know it wasn't in the first, because I first heard about abuse here from you yesterday.
The point I'm making here is that everything Bill Hill has told us so far has come true.
So why didn't Bill Hill, so he asked, so why didn't Bill Hill ask him why
We
he did
gave
it?
the gift on the 23rd.
Well, maybe that's the reason I'm trying to, yesterday, we were beating around the 23rd so much, because the gift stories are completely opposite. Again, on the 23rd. I don't think any gift took place on the 23rd.
I think if you ask Brenna's children,
I mean, everything Mr. Hill has said so far, like I just said a minute ago, has come true. That's why we're here. That's why we've been to Florida. That's why we now have a gun. Everything that Jim told Bill has been true.
well, you know what? The gift was delivered on the 23rd.
Well, so, and ultimately Bill asked Jim, why did you do it? And Jim said what? I did it, what did he say? Do you know? I mean, can you tell us? I mean, I don't know.
I can't remember every detail.
I understand.
But there,
What time is it, Jerry?
you know,
It's 10 after 9.
You know?
I gotta go.
I think so, so.
Yeah, I'd be interested in knowing. Do you recall? I mean, I lost the affidavit right now.
Well, I ran out of tape on this one,
Okay.
but, and you gotta go. But what I wanna do is,
Sure.
as soon as I find out about the car, you're still gonna be in town?
Oh, no.
Can I call you directly then to release the car to you?
And look, is your nanny home to give him permission to go to get those clothes? You gotta do that. I don't want them to think that you did something to the clothes or you went home. What time can we meet? What time, when? You gotta tell
Can you
them?
meet me this afternoon when I get off work?
What time?
I will be home by 4.
Okay. Somebody, one of us will be there at 4
All
p.m.
right, 4 PM, give them a number to call at 3 o'clock, give them an assurance that you're not gonna go home between now
Yeah,
and
they
then.
got my.
And, all right,
Let me get the number one.
and, she'll give you the
702.
clothes. All right, so what were the other couple of things that,
011.
Well, without the tape going out, I'm not gonna get into it, because you guys have to leave anyway, so.
well, but
But there were,
sure.
yeah, it just, it
I
bugs
want
me
you to know
that,
about your car, okay?
it bugs me that everything Bill Hill has said has come true. And that,
You keep saying has come true. What I'm saying is that Bill Hill has told you what what Jim said,
Mhm.
and it has proved out.
right, Jim, what
Okay.
Jim confided in him has,
Okay, let us assume that what he said is true. What did he say was the motive? And what did he say was her role? Aside from allegedly setting this guy up on the wrong date.
No, he says I lured him to
Lured
the
him.
area with
Well,
the promise
okay.
of a gift.
Jim told Bill Hill that Peggy's role was getting Russ to that location, which Peggy has ties to that location. She
Well-
stayed right next door to the location.
Well-
Jim has no ties to that location.
Jim has stayed there with me, by the way.
When did Jim stay there with you? I don't think we knew that.
Jim stayed there with me in November 2000. Is it November?
Then that's significant.
I have a picture.
Well, that was a specific question Sean asked yesterday, and you said Jim had never been to
No, I did not.
Francisco's house.
I would
If I
be
recall right.
Francisco's, we're talking
I
about
beg you to
purchase
redo
this
that
house.
tape, because I would never have said
Oh,
that.
let's just get back
Yeah,
down to
relax.
Well,
What's this
don't
guy's
like
name? I
it.
keep thinking purchase, and it's not, it's,
Deposit.
deposit.
We're talking about Francisco's house, which is up on.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I gotta remember what time, I think it was November of 2002.
He was sitting up there at the house with you?
Yeah, actually Cindy left and came, she went to, I think she flew to Denver for a wedding. She gave us her house.
Well, that's significant because that would
Well,
put
it
you,
wasn't even anything I,
well, yeah, that's what you have to go through.
And that's why we're here today. That's why I keep saying this.
I agree.
So would she, if I get a hold of Cindy, would she be able to verify that you got, did she actually see Jim there before she left? Or was she already gone when you guys got there?
I think she left when we got there, but she knows he was there with me.
Okay.
We talked on the phone and
Oh, is it Francisco's is the place near where
Did
this
you guys,
happened?
did you guys have
There you
friends
go.
over or anything like that?
we had Kelvin and Debbie over.
So, come here, let me ask you a
And
question.
Cheryl, we played, some game, kids versus the grown-ups. There were 6 of us. My 2 kids, Kelvin, Debbie, me, and Jim.
It's very significant.
And this was back in 2002.
No, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was, because we moved to Vegas in 2003. It was November 2002.
Now, your sister's husband passed, when he passed away, when was that?
First week of June 2002.
So that's what, and that's when you met Jim again and started getting acquainted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I flew to Fort Lauderdale in August 2002. Jim and Bill met me. And came down to Vegas in October 2002. Then Jim flew up, came to the island. We spent time, I think in Vancouver, BC that time too. There was a lot of little trips here and there. Whenever he got his eye surgery done, it was up in Vancouver, BC.
Okay. Well, I know you gotta go, so let's think about, these are the pieces that we need to think about. When we call you or get back a hold of you before, if there's anything else, let's talk about it. If you want to talk with me, without your attorney present, if he's not available.
Well, just you call me, I'll call them, and, because I want to write down what you're going to tell them before you tell them, so that it's accurate. But this is very significant, that he knew the area before the other.
He knows the island like the back of his hand.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you this before everybody runs out here, in light of this new evidence or testimony or whatever we can call what happened last night, would your client be willing to take a polygraph?
No, she's not gonna take a polygraph, because that's a one-way street. I don't believe in them. I really don't believe in their accuracy. I believe in her. And
What about you, Peggy? Would you be willing to take a polygraph?
I'm willing to do whatever he suggested.
Okay.
Well, I'll rethink it, but let's see what Jim says. We've been frank and upfront and
Exactly.
with the court. Well, let us know if he's committed and left a note, or if he's
sure I will.
cooperated.
Yeah.
All right.
And you'll let us know if you're having communication with his attorney.
Absolutely, yeah. I called his attorney yesterday,
And
and he wasn't in, and the secretary wasn't in, so I didn't leave a message.
Did you speak to him before?
Yeah, I spoke to his attorney last week. I said, I don't believe this guy did it. I said, I'd rather defend him, even though he says he did it. He says, it doesn't seem like he did. He says he did it, but it didn't seem like he did it to me.
So last
I
week.
said, I'm good. I said, yeah, I spoke to the,
So, but last week you knew that Jim said he did it last week?
yeah,
Where did that come from?
from the affidavit where he told Hill he did it.
Well, he told Hill he did it.
So I said to him, I said, did you know he told Hill he did it?
Hmm?
Yeah. So I said, I'm going Tuesday, I'm taking this woman in.
Mhm.
I said, find out if he did do it.
Okay.
He said, I'll get back to you. He never got back to me.
We've
I
got
think,
contact with Jim's attorney.
well, maybe, look, number one, maybe he didn't get paid. Number two, maybe Jim didn't come back. That's between him and Jim.
well, of course, we'll keep you informed of whatever we find out about Jim.
I mean,
We
that's,
don't want anything to happen to him either. I mean, that may seem far-fetched, but,
No,
him being alive is important for you and Brenna, and to get this whole thing resolved.
absolutely.
So we're all gonna be better off if we can, and Jim will be in the long run.
In the long run, yeah.
I don't think he believes that.
No, of course not. The
All
pressure.
right, well, let me know what happens. Sure. Thank you.
Thanks.
7 years after Russel's murder, investigators track Jim down in Mexico and bring him back to America. Jim Hewden and Peggy Sue Thomas are both charged with first-degree murder. Detectives believe that the homicide was a murder for hire. Peggy Sue arranged to meet up with Russel on the remote road. When Russel arrived, Jim was waiting. He jumped out, shooting Russel between the eyes. Jim and Peggy Sue then fled the scene, leaving Russell's body in his vehicle. Investigators theorized that Russell's ex-wife Brenna Douglas could have masterminded the murder to collect Russell's $500,000 life insurance. In 2012, a jury convicts Jim of first-degree murder and sentences him to 80 years in prison. Peggy Sue Thomas accepts a plea deal, pleading guilty to rendering criminal assistance. She is sentenced to 4 years behind bars. Brenna Douglas has never been charged in connection with the homicide and maintains her innocence.